It's game one. Coming up, Kerry Wood faces off with Ruben Quevedo as the Cubs battle the Brewers next.
Fox Sports Net's coverage of Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Aflac. Ask about it at work. Chevy. Test drive a new Chevy car or truck today at your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealer. Comcast, proud to be Chicagoland's new cable company. Heineken, it's all about the beer. Heineken. Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. Geico Direct, a 15-minute phone call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Nobody makes whiskey like Jack Daniel's. Pennzoil, protection for the way you drive. Pennzoil, we're driving protection. Your local area Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Mike's Hard Lemonade. A hard Mike's is good to find. And by Southwest Airlines. More than 2,700 nonstop daily flights to 59 destinations all across the country.
Right. Got it. Yeah. Well, that's great news. I appreciate it. Goodbye. Well, I've got some fantastic news.
I'm out of here.
No, it's Geico. Just saved myself a bunch of money on my car insurance.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Nothing beats the fun and excitement of watching the Cubs in beautiful Wrigley Field. And you can be there. That's right. Tickets are still available for upcoming Cubs games. To get your tickets, just call tickets.com at 1-800-THE-CUBS. Head to the Wrigley Field box office. Punch in www.cubs.com. Or visit any Chicagoland Sears or Sears hardware store. Don't wait. Catch all the Cubs action firsthand and get to the game.
Oh, come on, let's get this guy. It's got to be over 100 degrees out there. You have any idea what that does to an engine?
Need a motor oil for hot temperatures? We developed one. Pennzoil Synthetic resists thinning to protect engines in hot summer conditions. Pennzoil, we're driving protection.
Get a $7 rebate on a signature service oil change with Pennzoil Synthetic or high-mileage vehicle motor oils.
Guys?
When the weather's hot and sticky, a hard Mike's is good to find. When you're looking for hard refreshment, a hard Mike's is good to find.
Oh, Jenny. Want to try Mike's?
It's a hot, sticky summer night in Chicago. 90-degree temperatures here at game time. Wind blowing straight out at 15 miles per hour. And with the Milwaukee Brewers in town, that means it's slugfest time. Throw the records out the window. The Brewers have always battled the Cubs tooth and nail, especially in this ballpark. And Steve, this is a very important game and an important series for the Cubs. Again, tied with Houston, and whatever lingering hangover they might have had from the weekend, they've got to put it out of their minds now and beat this Milwaukee team while they're down.
The Cubs have done it this year almost exclusively on pitching. Yes, they have scored some timely runs. They just haven't done it all that often. But, Chip, they're going to have to do it against the Brewers. The Brewers have averaged 6.5 runs per 9 innings in this ballpark. And with that in mind, and with the fact that Richie Sexson has hit 3 home runs lifetime against Kerry Wood, sometimes you have to outscore a team, and more times than not, we've seen the Cubs having to outscore the Brewers.
And this is the Brewer lineup. The Cubs will try to outscore tonight. Former Cub Eric Young leads off at second, with Scott Posednik hitting second and center. Jeff Jenkins, Richie Sexson, and John Vanderwall, the powerful middle of the order, with an improving Wes Helms at third. Eddie Perez behind the plate. Royce Clayton has really struggled against the Cubs this year. And Ruben Quevedo will pitch and bat ninth.
There you look at Kerry Wood on for the 16th time. He's got the 1 complete game. That's because he got everything over the plate early. You see opponents hitting 196. That's a minuscule total.
So Eric Young with a 5-game hit streak digs in, and Kerry misses with a ball low downstairs. Young and Posednik have combined for 30 stolen bases in 35 attempts this year. Want to beat Milwaukee? Keep the first 2 hitters off the pillows.
EY is tough to strike out. More times than not, he'll make contact.
And when he's right, he takes the ball right back where it came from, right up the middle.
And I think when you get behind him and have to throw a fastball, you better be ready to field it. EY's only fanned 19 times this year in 241 at bats.
Kerry pumps over a quick strike. His last start against Cincinnati was a gem. A no walk, 9 strikeout performance. He allowed just 3 hits in a complete game Cub win. He enters play with the 10th best ERA in the National League and #1 in baseball in strikeouts with 128 of them. So Wood putting up very impressive numbers that might earn him some consideration for the All-Star game. But he'd like to rattle off a couple of victories in a row before the July festivities across town. And Young hits a rocket into the left field corner. That's going to bounce at the base of the ivy. And Eric Young into second base with a leadoff double, his 14th of the season. And here come the Brewers at Wrigley Field.
Kerry Wood decided to go with the fastball. That time he got the fastball up. And Eric Young hit it awfully hard. Look at the location of this one. Instead of on the outside corner, that one was up out over the plate. Eric Young hits it awfully hard. And an ominous beginning to this one. Watch for the bunt from Posednik. He knows he has to do whatever he can to move EY over. The best way to do it against Kerry Wood is to lay one down.
Martinez even with the bag at third, thinking he might bunt. Wood misses outside. Just 4 sacrifice bunts for Posednik this year, who really has impressed everyone with this Milwaukee organization. We talked at length with Rich Donnelly. Remember, they had Alex Sanchez patrolling center field when we last saw this team. He now plays for the Tigers, and they're delighted with what Posednik has done for them.
Well, so far, a radical departure from last time out as Kerry Wood has fallen behind the first 2 Brewer hitters. What Rich Donnelly said about Posednik was that he does something on a daily basis to make himself better, working on some aspect of his game that he can improve.
Out of play, 2 balls and a strike. Last time we saw Posednik, he was hitting home runs at Miller Park and forcing the Cubs into 16-inning games.
That didn't make anybody too happy associated with the Cubs. He hit that ball off the back wall at Miller Park. A surprisingly long shot for a guy that at that point wasn't known for hitting home runs.
Maybe the happiest guy was Todd Wellmeyer, who picked up a save. Kerry Wood looks Young back, might be able to run him down, and they should. Eric Young caught on the base pass. Now Posednik's in a rundown. Oh, what a break! The Brewers have run themselves into a double play. How about that start?
Well, Kerry Wood did a nice job because he didn't get rid of the ball too early. He ran right at Eric Young, making him commit. That's what you want to do. Then get the throw off and make sure when you get the ball, in this case to Martinez, that you don't allow Posednik on the back end of this one to go to second base. Kerry with a couple of steps toward Young, he freezes him. Then the Cubs do it awfully well. And Ramon Martinez, a heads-up play, throwing behind Posednik. And that's the way to get out of a jam. The Cubs do it perfectly. Great execution. And Kerry Wood started it all off with a heads-up play.
1-6-5-3-4-3 if you're scoring at home or if you're by yourself. Here's Jenkins. Bases clear with 2 outs. That is not officially listed as a grounded into double play. The Brewers ran themselves into it. Another facet of the game that, again, Rich Donnelly was bemoaning about not just Milwaukee, but the state of baseball. Lots of base running errors of late in the game.
Well, you're already in scoring position. There's no reason to run. If that ball gets by Kerry Wood, there's no way in the world that Grudzielanek's going to throw EY out at third. So if you hold up, worst case scenario, you've got 1 out, you're standing at second, and you've got Jenkins up. Well, that's not the case, and the Cubs are very happy.
1-1 to Jenkins. So as we said, just let Young and Posednik make a little contact, run them into a 1-6-5-3-4-3 double play, and then take on the middle of the order with 2 outs. 2-1 to Jenkins. He's got an outside shot at being an all-star. Brewers will have to have at least one representative for the All-Star game, and Jenkins and Sexton, the two strongest candidates, one would think. So they have a chance to impress Dusty Baker in this 3-game series.
Well, Jenkins has more runs batted in at this point, a few less homers, and a higher batting average. It depends on if you want a first baseman or a left fielder.
Swing and a drive, hammered deep to right. Sammy Sosa can only admire that ball as it's way out of the ballpark onto Sheffield Avenue. Jeff Jenkins hits his 17th home run of the year. 12th given up by Wood, and the Milwaukee team jumps in front 1-0.
RBI number 53, and again Kerry Wood falling behind. Jenkins looking for one pitch, and that's a fastball. He got it, and he hammered it.
The Milwaukee Brewers as an organization have hit more home runs than any other opponent the Cubs have faced in this ballpark. That's the 64th hit by a Milwaukee Brewer in Wrigley Field.
Well, that was a low fastball to a low fastball hitter, and he knew exactly what to do with it. So but for the base running blunder, the Cubs would be down a pair. This one's not going to be decided 1-0.
Ball and a strike to Sexton, and that one dances inside. Wood's not afraid to pitch in there. He's hit 11 men this year and has been experimenting with a changeup.
That was a curveball that just spun out of his hand and just kept floating inside. Fortunately, didn't even graze the uniform.
If you wondered who holds the Cubs team record for most hit batsmen in a season, the most appropriately named Nixie Callahan.
How many did Nixie hit?
22.
Kerry's got a long way to go. He could get that one.
That was back in 1900. Ron Santos' 17th year in Major League Baseball. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Richie Sexton.
Well, if Kerry Wood's feeling good about the slider, he'll throw it here. And if you get it low and away, Sexton's not going to hurt you. We'll take a look in. That's the curveball. Let's see if he gets it low and away. He got it away, but way away.
Nice night for a lemon ice. Our first 90-degree day in Chicago. There is the breaking ball. Sexton swings and misses. Jeff Jenkins homers out of the ballpark to right. Milwaukee leads by a run after a half inning.
After 68 years of proving itself again and again, now Suburban's adding even more to the reputation. J.D. Power & Associates' highest-ranked full-size sport utility vehicle in initial quality. Chevy Suburban, from the family of dependable, long-lasting Chevy trucks. Now get 0% APR for qualified buyers for 60 months or $3,000 cash back on every 2003 Chevy Suburban. See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers today.
There's an easier way to get to the All-Star game. Subway's Eat Fresh and Win $1 Million Scratch Card Game. You can win a trip to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game or the grand prize of $1 million. Stop by Subway today for our selection of fresh baked bread, fresh ingredients, delicious deli-style meats, and a free game card. Subway, eat fresh.
The CR-V, the Odyssey, and the Pilot from Honda. Different sizes and shapes to fit different lifestyles. But they are as much the same as they are different. Each is a leader in its class in safety, low emissions, and fuel economy, and all were named among the 5 best trucks by Car and Driver for the 2nd year in a row. So no matter which truck you choose, you'll have made the right choice. Happy choosing from Honda.
Wins tomorrow at 6:30 on Fox Sports Net.
1-0 Milwaukee. As one of the Cubs bonus babies, Kerry Wood gives up a solo home run in the top of the first. The Cubs lineup to face Ruben Quevedo shapes up this way. Mark Grudzielanek, Alex Gonzalez, and Corey Patterson, the top 3. Sammy Sosa, Moises Alou, and Eric Karros, the middle of the attack. Ramon Martinez is at third base. Damian Miller to catch. And of course, Kerry Wood hits ninth against former Cub Ruben Quevedo.
There's a look at Ruben. He's not overpowering. That's where the fastball tops out. He has a pretty good overhand curve, and he'll stay away from most hitters. Ruben also has a straight change that he'll mix in on occasion, but he has to keep you off balance.
And an off-speed pitch misses to Grudzielanek. We'd like to welcome our affiliate at Time Warner and their viewers in Kenosha, Wisconsin to Game 1 of this Cubs-Brewers showdown in Chicago. Cubs and Astros tied atop the division. Milwaukee in last place, 10 games back. And ball 2 misses away. 2 balls, no strikes. Houston is in Arizona later on tonight. Still don't know if Jeff Kent will play. And the Reds face off with St. Louis, a team they've beaten handily this year. Adam Dunn will be back for the Reds after serving a 2-game suspension for Cincinnati.
Ruben's not throwing the ball real well. Right now it looked like he's pushing it. And he's always had problems with Grudzielanek.
That one dances in. 3 balls and a strike. White Sox are underway in Minnesota. It's a critical series for the Southsiders. They've had all kinds of trouble winning at the Metrodome. They failed to score in the first. Grudzielanek rips a single to right. That'll drop in front of John Vanderwall, and the Cubs off to a good start in their half of the first inning.
Well, if Ruben continues to fall behind, he's going to have a real tough night, and it's not going to be a long night because the Cubs are going to hit the ball awfully hard against him. We'll take a look at the Brewer defense and how they line up behind Quevedo. It's Jenkins, Podsednik, and Vanderwall left to right with Helms, Clayton, Young, and Sexton in the infield. Eddie Perez behind the plate. And Ruben Quevedo on the hill.
Alex Gonzalez at 249 on the year. And Quevedo misses again. Eddie Perez held that ball for a split second longer to give Andy Fletcher another look. The umpire hasn't given that corner yet in this game.
Well, so far Ruben has stayed away with everything. Pretty much that's his MO. If he goes in, he'll go way in, normally off the plate, but he's got to go away to get you, and that's where he feels is his bread and butter.
One ball, no strikes. Again, he falls behind. 2-0. Phillies lead Atlanta 2-1. It's a rematch of Kevin Millwood and Russ Ortiz in that ball game. Ortiz has beaten Millwood twice already this season. Florida leads New York 3-1. Brad Penny back for the Marlins. Florida all of a sudden turning it on. And today gets them to 500. It would be their 5th consecutive victory. Mets continue to play without Mike Piazza. New York 2 games over 500 at 21-19 without Piazza in the lineup. Pretty remarkable accomplishment. 2-0 the count to Alex. Grudzielanek big lead, not going, and that one skied into right center field deep. Podsednik going back on the warning track, makes the grab. That ball hit a higher gears. It hit the outfield, but Alex retired for out number 1, and here's Corey Patterson.
So far the Cubs are looking away, and both Grudzielanek and Gonzalez have hit the ball awfully hard. That one staying in the park. Podsednik does a nice job of running it down.
Corey Patterson just 3 runs batted in for equaling his total set last season. He knocked in 54 runs. He's at 51 now. That's the team high. He also has hit a team most 12 home runs and is batting .308. Grudzielanek leaning, but gets back safely. Offense will be the question mark for the Cubs for this series with Milwaukee. The Cubs have scored 42 runs in their last 13 games. That's a little more than 3 a night. With the wind blowing out the way it is, should, if history is any indication, take a lot more than 3 to win this ball game.
Well, Quevedo keeps missing early and falling behind. That for him is the real danger zone. And he's been behind every hitter 2-0.
he knows he's walking a very, very thin rope here. 2 balls, no strikes. Grudzielanek leads from first. Brewers lead by a run. He's not going, and Corey fouls it straight back.
Last year, Quevedo was most of the year at Milwaukee, where he was 6-11 with a .576 ERA in 25 starts. So this year comes as no surprise, as Ruben has also struggled. His ERA .575, and this is his 8th start of the year.
2 balls, 1 strike. That bounces over the top of the Brewer dugout and out of play. 2-2 your count. Same 2 teams tomorrow and on Thursday. Both of those games will be WGN telecasts. Sean Estes will go against Ben Sheets tomorrow. Mark Pryor will flip-flop with Sean and pitch on Thursday. And the Cubs head cross town to face the White Sox, then to Philadelphia for 4. There are good tickets available for the next 2 Cub games here.
Ruben is trying to throw an 83-mile-an-hour fastball by Corey Patterson. Now, his bread and butter is the straight change. If he doesn't get it low and away, he'll have problems. Corey's never hit him very well. But that could change if Ruben gets it out over the plate.
Swing and a fly ball left center field, pretty deep. That one's going to go way out of here, and the Cubs are in front by a run.
Well, Ruben got it out over the plate, and Corey Patterson, with the wind blowing out, takes it into left center field. Take another look at it. This ball, even though it's tailing away from Corey, is about 83-84 miles an hour, and Corey Patterson hits it right on the button.
His last home run 18 days ago against the Yankees. And now Sammy Sosa, the hitter. His last home run in this ballpark was April 17th against Josias Manzanillo of Cincinnati. So he's overdue. As Billy Williams, the Hall of Famer, says, on a day like this, hit it high and watch it fly. The wind's going to help an awful lot.
Well, hopefully the Cubs will jump on Quevedo this inning. They've gotten him for a couple, but he's thrown the ball terribly to this point.
One ball, 2 strikes to Sammy Sosa. Corey Patterson continues his remarkable first half, making strong consideration for a National League All-Star spot. We haven't seen everyone in center field in the National League. We haven't seen the Braves yet. We haven't seen the Marlins, the Phillies, the Diamondbacks. But the other players we have seen, certainly you'd have to stack up Patterson's numbers very favorably with everybody else in the National League.
And also give him a plus for his glove, which has just been terrific this year.
2-2. That's off the plate. He does have the leg up, and that he plays every day for the man that will manage the National League team. That, of course, Dusty Baker. Count remains full to Sosa. 3 balls, 2 strikes here in our first inning.
Well, you'd have to think that if Ruben stays in long enough, Sammy's going to hit his first home run since April 17th in this ballpark.
Swing and a drive, belted center field, and he finally has done it. Patterson and Sosa go back to back, and Sammy feels the love at home for the first time since mid-April. Cubs lead now 3-1.
That's the third time this year the Cubs have hit back-to-back home runs. And Sammy got a fastball. Ruben tried to get it in, didn't even get it close to being in, and Sammy hit it out of the ballpark.
Well, you figured it was only a matter of time for him. And now Alou digs in. 3-1, Cubs have the lead, and Alou licking his chops at a chance to face Quevedo, who's got very little so far tonight.
That one went a mile. And Ruben short-arming the ball. He's been behind most every Cub hitter. And the Cubs are taking advantage of it. I don't know if he's 100% Chip, but whatever the case, you would think Mike Maddox would go out and have a word with him.
Aboard with a one-out walk, and now Maddox creeping to the top step, and Milwaukee's bullpen, I think, is going to get busy. They've got a whole host of performers down there available tonight.
Matt Ford is up throwing in the bullpen as Mike Maddox taking a little time out on the mound. He'll probably stay out there until Andy Fletcher comes out to break it up. He'll want Ford to get as loose as he possibly can. And there goes Andy Fletcher, and now Maddox is through talking. That's former teammate of mine, Richie Dower, second baseman with some very good Baltimore Oriole teams.
In business here in the first. 3 are in, 1 is on, 1 is out, and Eric Karros the hitter. Eric's had a good homestand. 5 hits and 10 at-bats against the White Sox. And Quevedo finally gets ahead of somebody. And it's very simple for Milwaukee, Steve. They've got to find a way to develop some consistent starting pitching. Ben Sheets is real good. They just sent down Glendon Rush. He had lost 11 games for them already this season. In fact, in between John Smoltz losses, Glendon Rush lost 22 times. Tells you how badly things have gone for him, but they have real big starting pitching problems, and that's been a real unfortunate situation for the Brewers. They've drafted some hard throwers, but they haven't been able to keep them healthy. The ones that have gotten to the big leagues unscathed, then have gotten hurt up here.
Well, they have a staff ERA of 5.10, and anytime you have that, it puts a tremendous amount of pressure on the bullpen.
One ball, 2 strikes to Eric Karros. They're in the middle of the pack defensively are the Brewers. 2 from the bottom in pitching, 4 from the bottom in hitting. And in the bottom in the National League Central. Only a game and a half behind Pittsburgh for 5th. Way outside, 2-2. Speaking of Pittsburgh, Lloyd McClellan's prophecy of the Pirates being back in the race hasn't panned out. They got beat again today by Montreal. Pirates fall 12 games under 500, and Lloyd snapped in the Pirate clubhouse. Jeff D'Amico was pitching well, but Pirates let the game get away late. Lloyd just threw all of his paperwork on the floor of the manager's office in frustration at what's taking place with the Pirates. 3-2 pitch, line into right field. Alou will cut the bag at second. He'll move to third. And Ruben Quevedo is getting hit like a piñata, and the Cubs aren't wearing blindfolds. First and third with 1 out.
The Cubs used the hit and run, and Karros went to right field through the vacated second base position as EY went over to cover. A good piece of hitting by Karros. This is a curveball that stays up in the zone. You see Young going to the bag. Karros hits it perfectly, and the hit parade continues. And there's Moises wanting to make sure if that ball is lined at anybody. He was able to pick it up, coasts into third base. And Quevedo's having all kinds of problems.
Ramon Martinez, the hitter. He brings a 3-game streak into play, and he looks at a ball upstairs. Cubs could use a blowout win, just I think for their own psyche, and Kerry Wood certainly would be happy to take a 7 or 8 run outburst offensively. There have not been many of those these last couple of weeks for the Cubs. In the air, that's deep to right center field. Vanderwall, however, in the bright sunshine, will make the grab. Alou will tag and he will score. It's a sacrifice fly and an RBI for Martinez. It's 4-1.
First time the Cubs have seen a 4-run inning in quite some time, especially a 4-run first. So the hit and run pays dividends in that the fly ball scores the run, and the Cubs take the lead here in the first inning. They lead by 3, looking for more.
Damian Miller, the batter. He's 12 for his last 36. That batting average back up to 230. Remember, he was in the low 200s before this very good offensive streak. You know about his defense, but if he can hit the ball to right field like that, that average will continue to climb very, very quickly. 2 more men are on with 2 outs. Kerry Wood will hit here in the first inning, but he won't face Ruben Quevedo, as Ned Yost will come on out and replace him after 37 pitches. In a word, Quevedo was awful tonight.
I got to tell you, Chip, and I don't know this for sure, he doesn't look healthy to me. When he was throwing the ball right away, Ruben usually throws it at 88, 89. He just didn't get it up there any semblance of effectiveness or velocity, and so Ford will enter, Quevedo will exit, and the Cubs have a pretty good lead.
2 men on, 2 out, 4 runs are in. A 37 pitch first inning ends the night for former Cub Ruben Quevedo.
It's Suzuki Summer Sizzler, and these great deals give you one more reason to get the new Quad Runner ATV you've been waiting for. Right now, you can get up to $600 cash back on select ATVs, and on approved credit, use your Suzuki credit card for great financing deals, like $25 monthly payments for 9 months, or 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 6 months. There's also great low APR financing available, such as 3.95% APR on all Eigers and Vincents. These sizzling savings give you one more reason to ride, and the deals won't last long. So get to your Suzuki dealer today.
Introducing Rain-X Car Wax. The same transparent polymer technology that makes our windshield treatment so effective now keeps your whole car protected from rain, dirt, UV rays, and more. There's almost nothing Rain-X Wax won't protect your car from. Almost. New Rain-X Car Wax. Protection you can see.
The best values in America? Well, they're here now at the Dodge Summer Sales Drive,
where you'll find our best products.
Like Dodge Neon SXT, with kickin' CD sound and sporty wheels. And our best deals. Qualified lessees can lease a Neon SXT for $189 a month with $189 down and $378 due at signing.
All with Dodge's 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
Let us prove we got the best values in America. Hurry to your Dodge dealer today.
Well, Steve, the Cubs offense, a lights-out performance here in the first inning, figuratively and literally. We've got a power outage here at Wrigley Field.
Well, I think, Chip, that everybody is so surprised the Cubs have 4 in the first that even the lights blew out. Now, it takes a while to restart them. They're going to come back out. We have lights and power both in the truck and the ballpark, so that's the good news. The lights will slowly come back on, and then we'll get this game in. That's the other piece of good news, and they won't take the home runs off the board, the third piece of good news.
And even more fun for the concessionaires and the vendors, a chance to pad the sales totals, because it's going to take about 15 minutes or so for the lights to recycle and get back up to full wattage here on a 90-degree day in Chicago. So we have a rare opportunity, Steve, to talk about some of the other things that are going on in Major League Baseball, and it's always fun to go through the races in Major League Baseball. Let's start with the National League's Eastern Division, where many thought the Philadelphia Phillies with David Bell and Kevin Millwood would be able to chase down the Atlanta Braves. That hasn't happened, and Montreal might be on the cusp of announcing a major trade tonight as well.
One of the real surprising things about the Montreal team is not that they're on a perpetual road trip, very rarely ever stopping at home to play any games, but the fact that they're doing all of this without Vladimir Guerrero. The good news for Montreal is that now, instead of a 2 or 3 month injury, which they expected that back to be, they're talking about another 2, maybe 2.5 weeks. If that's the case, Guerrero will come back to a team that's 7.5 games in back of Atlanta. However, very much alive in the wild card race, and we both heard the same thing, Chip, and I think they're going to announce it. You might as well talk about the guy that they might be acquiring, because I think it's going to happen.
Well, the Texas Rangers said they have announced today that they've agreed to trade Juan Gonzalez. Now, they have not named the team out of Dallas to the media where he could be going, but everyone that we've been able to talk to says the Montreal Expos are the team that Gonzalez could be joining. Now, Gonzalez has 72 hours either to accept or turn down that trade, but I think he would love the opportunity to play in San Juan, Puerto Rico with the Expos, a team that does have a chance at the playoffs right now. Montreal is only 2.5 games out of the National League's wild card race.
And let's face it, he's leaving a team, if he does indeed leave that team, that's 20 games under 500 at 27-47. At this time, they're 22 games out of first place. They're not going anywhere, and you'd think if you could get traded in a race, you would very much want to do that. The only disadvantage I would see, Chip, and it doesn't cast any kind of shadow over the trade, but Gonzalez will be going to 2 artificial surface teams. That would be a little bit tough on him. So you look at the wild card race, and Los Angeles, they're the leaders. Montreal 2.5 back. Los Angeles, however, in the thick of the race against San Francisco. They lost last night. They fell a game back of the Giants. And don't count out Arizona just yet. The Diamondbacks playing surprising baseball at 6 games back of San Francisco, and they've done it to this point without Schilling and without Johnson, and Schilling will be back in the not too distant future.
And they're talking about Randy Johnson coming back right around the All-Star break for Arizona too, and if they can get that 1-2 punch going, Arizona's going to be a force with which to be reckoned. As you said, they're only 6 games out of first. The Dodgers and Giants keep battling tooth and nail out west. Really, the Dodgers have to be a surprising team in that no one knew what they would get out of Kevin Brown and Darren Dreifert. Eric Gagne has not blown a save since last season for them at the end of the ball game. And Jim Tracy's got an awful lot out of that Dodger team, a team that leads the National League in pitching, but a team that's next to last in offense with a .246 collective batting average.
Well, there's a couple of teams that are going to be out on the market looking for offense. And with the Dodger pitching, we know that they're going to be one of them. They have the advantage of being a high revenue, big market team. And so they have some tradable folks, but they have to add a bat or two if they think they're going to be in this race all the way, because Darren Dreifert probably is not going to contribute too much the rest of the way. He's had some terrible knee problems, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to come back. I think they've announced that it's going to be a very difficult season for him. Kevin Brown is throwing the ball exceptionally well, and they've got tremendous pitching overall. But as we've seen, if you don't add some offense to the mix, it's going to eventually wear down that pitching staff. So far, Gagne has thrown awfully well as a closer, near perfect to this point, and the starting pitching has been very good, but they have to score some runs.
The other story in the National League certainly centers around the Florida Marlins. Number 1, Dontrell Willis, the former Cub farmhand, acquired in the trade for Antonio Alfonseca, and Matt Clement is off to a 7-1 start. They've brought up a kid named Miguel Cabrera, who has 2 major league hits, one of them a home run, one of them an RBI triple. He supposedly is going to be their third baseman in the not too distant future. But where will Mike Lowell go, if any place, for that Florida team? Because you look at the Marlins, maybe some feel it's unrealistic with them being 12 games behind Atlanta in the East, yet they're only a game under 500. They've won 4 consecutive games, and if they can get their starting pitching in order, they're capable of running off 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row.
Well, it's going to be a seller's market, and if you're Larry Beinfest in Florida, you don't really have a whole lot of necessity to make any moves at this point. Things that you do have, i.e. Castillo and Lowell, will just get that much more valuable. And Florida playing good solid baseball. The New York Mets talking about making a deal, and Armando Benitez is the guy most often mentioned. There's a few teams looking for closers, and so they have a very valuable closer in Benitez.
How about over in the American League? You surprised that Seattle's jumped out to a 5-game lead over Oakland in the Western Division, and that Seattle is playing 26-10 baseball away from Safeco Field?
Well, not surprised by anything Seattle does, because it's a very good team and a wonderful organization. But don't write Oakland off at this point. Whenever you can go with the 3 starters that they go with at the top and get anything at all out of 4 and 5 in the starting rotation, with Keith Polk doing a great job as a closer, Oakland is a team to be reckoned with, whether it's the wild card or the division. There's a long way to go in that division race yet, and eventually that real good pitching grinds you down. Now, the one difference is Seattle has a much better park to pitch than Oakland, but Oakland has a terrific young offense. But a lot like the Cubs, they live and die on that pitching staff, and when you can run Mulder, Zito, and Hudson out 1, 2, 3 in any order you care to mention, that's pretty tough 60% of the time.
How about the American League Central Division? Figures to be a 3-team race with Minnesota, Kansas City, and the White Sox feel they're back in it. They're 5.5 games back and have taken a 1-0 lead, by the way, up in Minnesota tonight. The Sox feel they're right back in the thick of things, and the tale might be told this week. They have 3 in Minnesota, 3 at home with the Cubs, 3 more with the Twins at U.S. Cellular Field.
Well, the White Sox believe that they can play with Minnesota. Now, they haven't played very well in Minnesota because the White Sox are a team that is built for power. Minnesota is a ballpark that demands you have speed because of the artificial surface. Minnesota, Chip, normally is an exceptional team at home. This year, the exception. Minnesota only 1 game over 500 at home. That means they're really vulnerable. They don't have that phenomenal home field advantage that they normally have. I think the Sox are far from out of it. Kansas City is a team that's surprising everybody under Tony Pena. Nobody knew about their young pitching. That's really come through, and that offense is just about as good as anybody's. So that's a team just 1 game back, and nobody felt that Kansas City would be where they are at this point of the season. So you're right. It is a 3-team race, and Minnesota is far from a lock for postseason play. Not a lock for the division, and certainly not a lock for the wild card. It would appear to me at this point that the wild card's going to have a good shot of coming out of the West. Well, however, the Toronto Ball Club in the East has been unbelievable.
Toronto's only 1 back in the wild card. Boston's 2 back. Kansas City 5 back in the wild card, which is what their fans are going to be looking forward to. One other thing to factor in with the Royals, by far they have the best record within their division. They're 21-6 against the rest of the American League's Central Division. Now, we don't know how many games against Cleveland and Detroit they've played to this point, but with those 2 teams in the division, whoever plays them has to beat them if they want to make the playoffs or win the division outright.
Well, we saw Toronto in their ballpark, and we were tremendously impressed with that offense. And we've seen them with 3 pretty decent starters at the top of the rotation, and Toronto, like so many other clubs, will go as far as 4 and 5 in the rotation takes them. But when you look at Vernon Wells and Carlos Delgado in the middle of that lineup, a right and left-hand hitter back-to-back, and driving in the runs they're driving in, Delgado's going to have 100 by the All-Star break, and Wells drives in a whole lot of people before Delgado ever gets to bat. That's a surprising team. But Chip, when Bernie Williams comes back to the New York Yankees with their pitching, with their experience, with that offensive team, with one of the best catchers around in Posada, especially from the offensive side, I think New York wins that division, and I think they'll eventually win it fairly handily.
Well, you know, one thing is for sure, that George Steinbrenner, when it comes to decision-making time, will have an open checkbook. He'll spend whatever he feels he needs to spend and get whomever he feels he needs to have to put that Yankee team over the top. Now, whether he can mix and match with a trade or not remains to be seen. Whether or not they'll need it or not remains to be seen. But the Yankees right now are a team that is hanging on to the Eastern lead. They're up a game on Toronto, 2 over Boston, despite playing without Nick Johnson and Bernie Williams, and frankly a New York Yankee bullpen that is not nearly as dominant this season as we've seen in years past, and I would imagine that's going to be job number 1 for them.
Well, Mariano Rivera is coming back, though, and throwing the ball like he threw it when he was getting everybody out. The question is who they will have to get the ball to Rivera. So things continue to be interesting as we move toward the All-Star break. There's a lot of teams that have surprised people. There's a lot of teams that were supposed to be better than they've played to this point. And maybe the most interesting and compelling race is the one that the Cubs have the biggest rooting interest in, and that's something we haven't touched on, which is the NL Central. With the Cubs in Houston, a virtual tie atop the division, although the Cubs lead by a couple of scant percentage points. St. Louis right there at 1 back. Cincinnati at 4 back. Losers of 3 in a row. And the question with Cincinnati is, will they get any pitching to go with what is an astounding offensive attack? And now, Chip, Isringhausen has come back. The last 5 appearances, hasn't given up a run. That was the one question that everybody asked of St. Louis. Would they have a guy at the end that could close down the game? One of the reasons why the division is as close as it is right now is that St. Louis didn't have that guy. They appear to have him now in Jason Isringhausen.
But they also have Cincinnati in town, and the Reds have jumped on them for 2 quick runs in the 2nd inning. The Reds have beaten the Cardinals 6 times in 7 tries this year.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that for some odd reason that matchup really favors Cincinnati. And it could be because Cincinnati's offense is one of the few that is the equal to St. Louis, and for some reason their pitching has been pretty effective against the Cardinals, so the offense really tells the tale in that head-to-head matchup.
So hopefully Cincinnati can keep up their good work. Hopefully Houston can stumble in Arizona tonight. Hopefully the Cubs can continue to add to what is right now a 4-1 lead in the 1st inning. Lights are very close to coming back to full power, so Matt Ford will have a few extra minutes to warm up. We'll step aside, catch our breath for a moment, take a quick break, and come back with a resumption of our 1st inning here at Chicago's historic Wrigley Field.
Free to move about the country.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Aflac. Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Okay, Romeo, which one is it?
Well, I spent time with both of them, getting to know them inside and out.
And?
They both possess this power.
So, is it a new Ford Focus or a new Ford ZX2?
It wasn't that easy. I could drive a Focus with 0% or $2,500 cash back, or I could get into a ZX2 with 0% or $3,000 cash back.
The verdict?
Definitely the ZX2.
Good, because now I'm getting the Focus.
Now current Ford owners get an extra $500 cash on both. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again. They did.
Matt Ford is in to face Kerry Wood after a 15-minute delay or thereabouts for a power outage here at Wrigley Field.
There you look at Matt Ford and his numbers. The ERA terrific, and this his 21st appearance. He inherits base runners at 1st and 2nd. When we left off, the score was 4-1. We're back. It's still 4-1. But Ruben Quevedo has made his exit. Matt Ford has made his entrance. And we hope that Kerry Wood will have enough time to loosen up, because it's been a long time between pitches for him.
No balls and a strike to Kerry Wood. And the long left-hander misses outside. 1-1 is your count. 4 runs for the Cubs so far in the 1st. Back-to-back homers by Patterson and Sosa. And a sacrifice fly from Ramon Martinez. They scored the 4th run of the inning. Every time the Cubs play the Brewers, something weird happens, and tonight no different. A 16-minute officially power delay, and Ford takes care of Wood. 4 runs in the 1st for the Cubs, 4-1 after 1 on a 90-degree night. It's seen the Cubs swing lights out.
free to move about the country.
Counting down.
Measuring traffic congestion. Here we go.
Tickets for the Red Boys now on sale. Call now. Pick up the phone. Call now.
One concert could generate hundreds of thousands of calls in an instant. At SBC, if we can handle hurricanes, floods, and earthquakes, we can handle the Rad Boys. Ready for anything.
Hello? Any more tickets?
SBC.
The Hyundai Sonata, ranked most appealing entry midsize car. More standard features than a Toyota Camry LE, including a V6 engine. All for over $2,100 less. Add in America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles, and you win. Test drive the Hyundai Sonata, starting at just $15,839 at your Hyundai dealer. Hurry in and get a 2003 Sonata with $1,000 cash back or 0% APR through June 30th.
Would you like to be a Walgreens celebrity bat kid at Wrigley Field this summer?
I'd love it.
Go to walgreens.com/batkids for complete details. Christy Sedlak and James Franklin enjoying the game tonight. And a little extra baseball as we had a 16-minute power outage. But the lights are back up to full capacity, and the Brewers are coming up here in the second inning, and that'll mean Vanderwall, Helms, and Eddie Perez. John Vanderwall getting the start in right field for Milwaukee tonight. They didn't figure on him being an everyday performer for them. They were hoping Jeffrey Hammonds would be that player, but he's been hurt, and he's not with the club anymore. Vanderwall is the starter, and he's putting up very respectable numbers.
Well, they really like what Vanderwall has done so far. He's a terrific pinch hitter, and he gives you a great left-handed bat. And this is another one of those guys, because of his experience, if you fall behind him where he can look for one pitch, usually a fastball out over the plate, he can put a charge into it. He's hit 7 home runs for a part-time player. Not bad.
Ground ball. Those will be at a premium tonight. Vanderwall's retired. 1 away in our second inning. Again, the Cubs and Brewers hook up 2 more times in this series. It'll conclude our final June homestand. Good tickets available for tomorrow and Thursday's 1:20 games. Then tickets available as well July 7th, 8th, and 9th when the Florida Marlins come to town. That's part of that big homestand with St. Louis, Florida, and Atlanta right before the All-Star break, which takes place at Comiskey Park.
Yeah, a lot of folks are under the misconception that you can't get tickets for the Cubs once school lets out. Well, there are a lot of seats available for the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And the Florida Marlins have some pretty good young players. They're putting together a good year. And this is also a very good year to come and see the Cubs in this ballpark, because as it heats up, things are going to get real exciting.
If you need any further assistance with regards to Cubs tickets, you can shop Cubs.com, the official site of wearing your heart on your sleeve, cap pullover, and a whole lot more. The best is yet to come. We're hoping for the Cubs as we wrap up the month of June already here at home. Les Helms, a former Atlanta farmhand. They got him from the Braves in the Ray King deal. And they're trying to let him shake off the rust. He was a bench player for the Braves, now getting a chance to play virtually every day at third base. And at times, Steve, he's been very impressive for Milwaukee.
Well, he has tremendous power. There's not much doubt about that. Right now, he's probably striking out many more times than they'd like him. Only 25 walks with 62 strikeouts. But when you've hit 13 home runs and you're getting your first chance to play every day, they feel he's going to get comfortable enough at what was his natural position at third base.
Shot up the middle. Nice play at short. Alex, 360 spin. could not get his man. Great effort just to get to that ball, but Helms able to leg out an infield hit.
That was pretty good play by Alex up the middle. But the momentum of the baseball carried him a couple of steps too far, and by the time he could right the ship, and he does a good job of getting this throw off. Eric Karros, as he's done all year, scooping the ball out of the dirt. But the Cubs can't get Helms at first. Good news from the farm. Hee-Seop Choi is on his rehab. He's played a couple of games down there. Has yet to regain his stroke, but the fact that he's playing means he'll be back in the not too distant future.
And the Cubs could use his bat and his glove, and that's no offense to Eric Karros, who's done a remarkable job over at first base, but this team right now a little right-handed. Nice to have another left-handed bat in the lineup. And backs up Perez. 2 balls, no strikes.
And he's been a pretty good hitter this year. Somewhat surprisingly, hitting .293, and he's hit 7 home runs. So they're playing in a very lively park at Miller Park in Milwaukee, and Perez taking advantage of it.
That ricochets off Damian Miller, who's added a new accoutrement to his catching gear. If you look above Damian's right shoulder, he's added that extra pad, that little flap, to help stop the ricochets from getting him on the exposed shoulder.
I can't blame him. I'd wear as much padding as they would let me. Look like a hockey goalie.
Good pitch. Took something off. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, so far, Kerry's slider a little bit better than the curveball, although that curveball was awfully good. And Chip, you hit it right on the head when you say he took something off it. That time it was not only the location but the velocity that really fooled Perez.
The 2-2 lined into right field. Both teams going the other way very successfully tonight. So 2 are on with 1 out for Royce Clayton, who needs a hit against the Cubs, Steve. I would say very, 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 very badly.
Well, his next hit will be his first hit this year against the Cubs.
And how many at bats?
He's 0 for 27, and he had one of those 4-game series that you dread. When the Cubs came in and played 4 and swept Milwaukee, Royce was 0 for the series, which made him 0 for the season. But he's been very dependable defensively, although that batting average way down.
213 as a matter of fact, and there is that first base hit. It's right back up the middle. Helms will stop at third as Patterson comes up quickly, and Milwaukee has the bases loaded, but they have the pitcher Matt Ford coming up. So 3 straight Brewer hits in the second inning. Nothing's easy against this team.
And it's really funny. We talked with Rich Donnelly about very much a similar situation before the game. He talked about having a guy who doesn't run particularly well with less than 2 outs at third, and invariably the ball is hit hard right at somebody. He said he prefers not to gamble in that situation, and that's exactly what he did with Helms. He held him up at third. So now you're facing Ford with the bases loaded and only 1 out.
And if they can turn it over to Eric Young, they'll be in good shape. The Cubs are hoping Ford hits a ground ball at somebody as we approach 8 o'clock here in Chicago. It's 4-1. Cubs in front. They played long ball in the first.
What Ned Yost is hoping is either make a whole lot of contact or none. He wants anything but a ground ball.
And he's hoping Wood can miss consistently in the zone, or out of the zone, I should say. Kerry's not had great command so far in this game.
And Kerry didn't throw the ball well in the first inning, and he's come out here so far after that long delay, and he's not throwing it a whole lot better.
2 ball shots, and Ford behind in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, that doesn't mean he can't turn it around, and he can start right here. When a guy can't catch up with your fastball, you might as well stay with it.
Brewer at every base, and that's over the outside corner. He does take strike 3 for the second out, but now you go to the top of the order, and Eric Young got a fastball, and he ripped it into the left field corner his first time up.
Kerry stays with a fastball. It's right on the corner. Andy Fletcher rings him up. So for Ned Yost, he got pretty much what he wanted if he wasn't going to get the base hit. It didn't appear that Ford could get around on it. So he goes down on strikes, and you keep the inning alive for your leadoff hitter.
Young with a 6-game hit streak. And Kerry drops that one in for a strike. Brett Tomko and Jimmy Haynes, the opposing hurlers in St. Louis tonight. Reds lead the Cardinals 2-0. Houston and Arizona a bit later.
Kerry does go to the slider. That's where Damian Miller has got to block anything down. Kerry's made 4 wild pitches this year.
Out of play. He's 1 strike away from stranding them loaded in the second inning. Young has 19 runs batted in this year. The big crowd wants Wood to finish him off here. Oh, Young backed away. Might have stayed high. 2-2.
And although it buckles the knees of EY, it does come in high and out of the zone.
As you said earlier, Steve, Young a tough man to strike out. That one popped up, and the inning will come to an end. Wood pitches out of a bases loaded jam in the second and protects a 4-1 Cub lead.
Come on in, Derek. I thought we discussed this thing and had it all worked out. You're our starting shortstop. How can you possibly afford to spend 2 nights dancing, 2 nights eating out, and 3 nights just carousing with your friends? Oh.
If you want to enjoy the New York nightlife, bring your Visa card, because Orso, Cheetah, and the Broome Street Bar don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
The greatest adventurer who ever lived has been recruited to stop a madman.
I'm waiting to be impressed.
On July 11th.
You must lead a team like nothing the world has seen. Dr. Jekyll, at your service.
Discover an adventure in a league of its own.
Take the wheel! Keep your eyes on the road!
Sean Connery. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. This film is not yet rated. July 11th.
We're here in this auto graveyard to demonstrate New Finish, the once-a-year car polish. Simply wipe it on, wipe it off. No rubbing, no buffing. New Finish restored a deep, hard shine even to this weather-beaten car. We polished this car with New Finish and ran it through 52 car washes. Even after heavy-duty detergents and powerful scrubbing, the water still beads. New Finish.
Top-rated New Finish, available at True Value, Pep Boys, Family Dollar, AutoZone, Walgreens, Kmart, and other leading stores.
I got some serious demons I'm fighting.
If you think you've seen everything on Mike Tyson, think again.
I hate my life now. Maybe in my next life, I'll have a better life.
Mike Tyson, Beyond the Glory. Viewer discretion strongly advised.
Some critics are calling the best sports show period a 2-hour frat party with irreverent skits, insightful interviews, and sharp locker room banter. Tonight on the show, the Klitschko brothers. Boy, what a fight with Lennox Lewis the other night. NBA draftee TJ Ford and Robbie Gordon of the soon-to-be Nextel circuit. All tonight at 11 on the best sports show period. Grudzielanek to work in the Cubs second. They batted around and scored 4 times off of Ruben Quevedo. Grudzielanek singled his first time up.
Well, Grudzielanek and Karros, 2 of the 3 guys who have really hurt the Brewers this year. The first inning, no exception. Both of them had base hits. Mark scored as he led off the inning with a base hit, as the Cubs hit back-to-back home runs for the 3rd time this year.
One ball, 2 strikes to Mark Grudzielanek. That great slide against the Sox. Well, a sweet redemption for Wendell Kim on Sunday as he slides home ahead of the tag by Olivo. That got the game even. And Corey Patterson with an RBI single earned the Cubs their second and final run of the day.
Well, speaking of Corey Patterson, you and I did a show that will be seen right here on Fox Sports Net after the post game tonight, featuring Joe Borowski, Corey Patterson, and a live audience at Harry Carey's restaurant.
We had a great time. It was a terrific turnout. We want to thank all the fans who stopped by. I want to thank our friends at Chevrolet for all of their hard work in helping sponsor the show. Fox Sports Net, Don Graham, the entire staff. And of course, Harry Carey's at Dearborn and Kinsey for a great lunch. And get a chance to see a side of the players you don't ordinarily get a chance to see.
Well, everybody worked pretty hard to get this thing together very quickly. And you'll hear some things about Joe Borowski and Corey Patterson that will surprise you and I'm sure delight you.
And Grudzielanek with a leadoff walk here in the second inning. And Steve and I were hoping to do this show on a monthly basis and perhaps even more frequently if the opportunity presents itself. And it was a real lot of fun to do.
Well, we talked with Jim Hendry tonight, and he will appear on one of the future shows. We're not sure quite yet. I mean, the bookings are so extensive we can hardly keep track of the guests, and the Cubs don't want to shut down the offense quite yet. This is a team that scored 6.5 runs per game against them in this ballpark.
1 ball, no strikes, and if this offensive output continues, as Ned Yost comes out for a memo to Mr. Ford, hey, throw some strikes, let's get some easy innings here. Might even have Sarge on.
And Chip, we have an opportunity here to show you a clip from the show, something that we haven't seen quite yet. So we'll share it with you at home.
Let's start with Corey. I've got a question about the fans out in the bleachers. Do you, and remember you're on TV, do you prefer the left field bleacher fans or the right field bleacher fans?
Oh, you know what? I like both of them.
Corey, you'll be running for office this year also.
So there's the set. That was the venue upstairs at Harry Carey's, again at Dearborn and Kinsey, and a lot of fun. The show went well, and we again want to sincerely thank Joe and Corey for joining us on our maiden voyage, as it were, and it went swimmingly. So tune in after the post-game show tonight as we talk a little Cubs baseball with Chip and Steve, sponsored by our friends at Chevrolet, Fox Sports Net, Harry Carey's, and Hirschman Limo. Don't forget Irv took care of us going to the airport last week. He took care of the players today. 1 ball, 1 strike to Alex Gonzalez. After the pep talk from Ned Yost, Ford still can't throw strikes. Back where it came from, but Young handles the odd spin. And Clayton turns the trick. Double play. Retires Grudzielanek and Gonzalez.
That one turned out to be hit perfectly as far as the Brewers were concerned. Eric Young standing right in front of it, even though it was hit off the end of the bat. It was an easy 4-6-3.
By the way, Steve, did you get your copy of the Harry Carey's Restaurant official cookbook?
I did, and it'll be till the off season until I'm able to prepare some of the dishes.
Well, I know you are a gourmet chef.
Oh, yes.
As all of us know.
I could make that rice-a-roni with the best of them.
It is the San Francisco treat. There's no question about that.
There's a young man getting a closer look at Corey Patterson, who hit his 13th home run last inning.
So all the great recipes from Harry Carey's downtown. Steve's personal favorite on page 150, as we all know, chicken Vesuvio. And we'll be ordering that up probably tomorrow night. 4-1 is our score after 2 here in hot, sticky Chicago, Illinois.
If you're looking for the biggest savings event of the year,
Toyota's got it.
if you're looking for the largest selection of the year,
Toyota's got it.
you'll find it all right now at Toyota's tent event.
Toyota's got it.
Go for great customer choice savings on the powerful iForce V8 Tundra, like 1.9% financing or $2,000 customer cash. Or check out the great deals on the rugged Tacoma. If you want it, this tent event's got it. Now at your Toyota dealer.
Toyota's got it.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
Despite years of racing stock cars, motorcycles, and dirt bikes, the only ride that truly scared Bill Wilt was the short trip in an ambulance when he had that unbearable pain in his chest.
I thought I was going to die, but the doctors at Gottlieb Hospital pulled me through with a quadruple bypass, and I haven't felt this good in 20 years.
Gottlieb Memorial Hospital's group of heart surgeons performs some 2,000 open heart operations in the Chicago area each year. At Gottlieb, we're bringing quality to life.
There's never been a better time to buy a new Oldsmobile. Hi, I'm Maury Edelson. Whether you're looking to buy a 2003 Oldsmobile or you're looking to service your current Oldsmobile, I will stand by you and your car. Our newly expanded state-of-the-art service facility and service director Darren Dandry will give you peace of mind. Simply the best experience, always the best price at Maury Edelson Cadillac Buick Oldsmobile in Hodgkins.
You can be a hero on one day, go the next day, back to a hero, and Wendell's just doing what he's paid to do and what he's very good at. It's just that sometimes when you're a third base coach, I think that's the hardest job in baseball, because when Grudzielanek safe, nothing said. But if Grudzielanek would have been out, then he'd have been a double scoring versus just a single scoring he was before. So it comes with the territory.
That it does. Sweet redemption for Wendell on Sunday, as Posednik, Jenkins, and Sexton come up for the Milwaukee Ball Club.
Well, I hope Kerry turns it around somewhat. He didn't throw the ball very well the first couple of innings. He has the good, if not comfortable, lead to this point. And this is refreshing for Kerry Wood as far as getting a little offense. He hasn't had a whole lot of that this year because he's thrown much better than that 6-5 record would indicate.
Kerry has received 14 runs of support in the last 61 innings pitched coming into play tonight. His comments after his win against Cincinnati is tonight's Geico Direct moment. One of the best breaking balls all year for Kerry in that ball game. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Florida all over the Mets. 8-1 that game in the 6th inning now. Brad Penny should be in line to win his first ever against New York tonight. Get the Marlins back to 500. They've done it, Steve, without Mike Lowell hitting much. Lowell just 2 hits in his last 20 at bats.
I think they might have both left the ballpark though.
Trade him while he's cold. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch to Posednik. Did he go? He did not. Posednik aboard in the 3rd inning. Nice at bat. Wood wanted the call, did not get it. And now Jenkins will be the hitter. He took Wood out onto Sheffield Avenue his first time up.
Never too early to give you that 7th inning stretch update. Tomorrow it's going to be Defensive Player of the Year and linebacker for the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Derek Brooks. On Thursday, American Girl theater actress on American Girl Day at Wrigley Field.
And tonight it's Tyson Chandler of the Bulls. So
they're very tall, Tyson Chandler.
That is correct. No balls and a strike to Jeff Jenkins. He's tearing it up this month, hitting over 350 in the month of June. Brewers, though, 10 games out of first.
Jenkins went over and talked with Sarge before the game. He was his hitting coach last year. And he had some kind words for him. We asked him what he looked for in a hitting coach. Basically, he said somebody who stays away from him most of the time. He said he looks at a lot of film. He wants a hitting coach to tell him when he's doing something wrong, something that he hasn't noticed before. And he certainly helped himself in the first inning with a towering home run.
That went off his thumbs. He said, I need my hitting coach to know my swing as well as, if not better than I do myself. And you made the point earlier in the game about the key word being timing. He has a timing device, as a lot of other major league hitters do, and when he's off kilter, the swing suffers greatly.
Well, he said he lifts up the front foot. If it comes down too early, he's in trouble. And that's what he has to always be aware of. He's not going to be able to hit the fastball in and up. That's usually a problem for left-hand hitters. But as we saw with the 3-1 fastball in the first inning, he can hit it just about as far as anybody.
One on, none out in the Brewers' third inning. 4-1 Cubs have the lead. First game of this 3-game set. He went around that time, and Jenkins is strikeout victim number 3 for Kerry Wood. When that slider is biting like that, not only will the hitters swing and miss it, but they might want to get the back foot out of the way because it's going to get hit.
You've got a hard time picking up the spin, and that's where you get the awkward swings. Nice job by Damian Miller of blocking this ball down. You see the raised front foot, but on that slider, it doesn't matter what you do with the front foot. You're not going to get a good piece of it.
Here's Richie Sexson. He doesn't run particularly well. That's the good news. The bad news is he doesn't hit balls on the ground too often. He's only hitting the 6 double plays this year. He hits line drives and high fly balls. He struck out his first time up. That ended the Milwaukee first. They ran themselves out of a chance to add more than 1 run to the scoreboard. Young doubled. Posednik hit a high hopper right back to Kerry Wood. Eric Young got trapped between second and third. Then Posednik took too wide a turn around first, and the Cubs ran him down. Jenkins followed with a home run, then Sexton struck out. Karros in foul ground makes the play. Hang with him, Eric. Good catch. 2 out.
You know the ball is going to spin back toward the field of play, but when it gets above the stands, that wind really takes over, and Karros almost got trapped too close to the dugout, stayed right with it, and got a huge out. Retiring Sexton, who's hit 3 career home runs against Kerry Wood. Always a good thing to do.
Here's John Vanderwall. He bounced out to Karros with Wood covering at first. Runner goes. He got a great jump, and Vanderwall fouled it away. So Posednik will head back to first.
Posednik looking for his 15th stolen base.
He's standing at second base.
Somebody better tell him the ball was fouled off.
Yeah,
there you go, DeMiro.
In the major leagues, if it's a foul ball, you have to go back to first base. Those dastardly fiends from Milwaukee, they'll try anything, won't they?
Stay away from my car.
Oh, you're okay.
That's in perfect car area.
No balls and a strike. You know, we should pose this query. Does anybody know of a mobile windshield replacement service?
No, I've got it all taken care of.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Wasn't quite as mobile as I would like, but it will be all remedied tomorrow.
Good, because my safety is of great
barring
concern.
Another errant baseball tonight.
1 ball, 1 strike. There's a wicket breaking ball. 1 and 2. He's starting to dial that baby in now.
Well, Kerry's thrown it a lot better this inning than he did the last 2. And when he gets that slider going, you can't sit on the slider or you'll never catch up to the fastball.
They had him leaning, and they got him out at first. Posednik picked off by Kerry Wood, who has one of the best moves in the National League. Nothing doing in the 3rd inning. Cubs 4, Brewers 1.
The new 2003 Pontiac Grand MSE has more power than Jetta GL, more torque, and better fuel efficiency. Our drivers wanted more. Just announced, Get $4,000 cash back on a 2003 Grand Am SE. With cash back, a brand new 2003 Grand Am SE starts around $13,700. See your Chicagoland Pontiac dealer.
No one will ever just remember your name. No one will instantly make you their hero. No one will automatically give you respect just because you show up. You have to earn it.
Comcast, proud to be Chicagoland's new cable company.
Rejuvenate your 75,000-mile engine with Pennzoil High Mileage Vehicle. The motor oil specially formulated for the needs of your older, wiser vehicle. Pennzoil, we're driving protection.
Get a $7 rebate on a signature service oil change with Pennzoil synthetic or high mileage vehicle motor oils.
Anything he can do, she can do better.
She's a far more effective killing machine.
Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. Rated R. Starts Wednesday, July 2nd.
As we told you, later on tonight, it's the debut of Talkin' Cubs with Chip and Steve from Harry Carey's Restaurant downtown. Joe Borowski and Corey Patterson join us to talk about this Cubs season to this point. Talkin' Cubs baseball. Chip and Steve tonight after the postgame on Fox Sports Net. Sammy Sosa homered here for the first time since April 17th. A solo shot all the way to the back of the juniper bushes in center field. And Ford, like Quevedo, cannot throw strike one or strike two so far tonight.
Sammy has the 3-0 green light, and if Ford gets it close, Sammy will be swinging at it. If anything can get him going, it's that bomb he hit in the first inning.
And 4 straight out of the zone. Put Sosa at first for Alou.
The last thing that Ned Yost wanted to do was go to the bullpen in the first inning. Now you pretty much figure that Ford is going to have to go a little more deeply into the game. And so sometimes you have to take it for the team. Right now he hasn't given anything up. The Brewers are hoping he doesn't, but they don't want to deplete the bullpen in the first of a 3-game series.
And if he can keep this thing at 3 runs or 4 runs, deficit that is, it will have been a job very well done for Ford. With the wind blowing out at 15 miles an hour, any fly ball has a chance of reaching the bleachers. And Alou rolls that off his foot. 1 ball, 1 strike. White Sox maintaining a 1-run lead after 5 in Minnesota. Big game for the Sox. If they win that one, they'd be 4.5 games out of first. Pitching matchup at the Metrodome. Undetermined against undetermined.
That's usually a pretty good matchup.
1 ball, 1 strike.
If it was ever going, they're doing a good job of throwing it so far. And again, we told you that for whatever reason, Minnesota just not taking advantage of the home field this year. They're just 1 over 500. And although they've dominated the Sox in that ballpark in recent years, this would be a good time for Chicago to go up there and make a statement.
Ground ball, Helms backhand, knocks it down, slides to his posterior. That'll be an infield hit. Helms had a lot of ground to cover. 2 are on with nobody out.
Would have been a tough play if Helms comes up with it. He's not going to get the force out at second, and he had the long throw to first. So we're waiting to see what the call will be. As Bob Rosenberg flips the coin, it comes down, base hit.
So Eric Karros the batter, 2 on with nobody away. Cubs 4, Brewers 1. Gregg had a 4-hit game against the White Sox Sunday. This guy's done a great job. Hitting 298. Coming into play tonight. He's thinking home run. Why not?
Eric knew that he was going to get a whole lot more play when Aesop Troy went on the DL, and Karros has been everything Dusty could have expected and more. There's a Brewer fan. Outfield straight away, and Jenkins probably has the most accurate arm in the outfield, and he's in left.
Slowly hit ground ball to short. Wanted second. Young in the neighborhood. Could not get Karros. First and third with one out. Alou forced at second.
Off the real high infield grass, that ball slows down enough for Karros to beat the play at first. And it sets up what Ramon Martinez did in the first inning, and that was hit a sacrifice fly. Ramon has been a very good situational hitter. Regardless of what the Cubs have needed, he's pretty much been able to deliver it. It was the 4th sacrifice fly of the year. And by the way, that leads the team in that department.
You need contact. You want a contact hitter up there. Ramon qualifies as that. Cubs have their magic number of 4 runs. When they get 4 or more in a game, they're 31-10. 21 games over 500.
Well, it's against a real good offensive team. So they don't want to rest on their laurels here. And I'm thinking with Ford throwing the ball up in the zone, it really sets it up for, at the very worst, a sacrifice fly. Again, the most accurate arm is the arm in left field with Jenkins. Osetnik's arm just adequate in center. Vanderwall, pinch hitter, first baseman by trade, with an accurate, if not overpowering, arm in right.
All 3 with Damian Miller waiting on deck. Field line, long run, Vanderwall. He sets nicely. There's the catch. Sammy tags. He will come home to score unopposed. Another sac fly and another RBI for Martinez. And the Cubs now lead 5-1.
That's exactly what you're looking for in that situation. It's a 3-0 count. You don't want to swing at anything down, so you're waiting for Ford to get something up in the zone. And that's exactly what happened. Martinez now with 5 sacrifice flies as he's driven in his 2nd run of the game.
Damian Miller, a base hit in the first inning. That hit chased Quevedo. Ruben started, went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 4 runs, 5 hits. And he's a young man who's had a lot of problems getting people out, no matter whom the opposition has been. But tonight's performance, Steve, even for Quevedo, you got to wonder if he's 100%. He had nothing.
Well, Ned Yost wasn't all that patient. He knew that he wasn't throwing the ball well, and he wanted to make sure that they get out of that first inning without any further damage, and Ford was able to do that. There's a look at Ruben. A very disappointing night against a team that was his 2nd major league organization. He started with the Atlanta Braves.
Two balls and a strike to the Cubs catcher, Damian Miller.
This one's moving right along. We're at the 1.5-hour mark here in the bottom of the 3rd. Of course, we did have a light delay.
2 balls, 2 strikes. day at the ballpark expected tomorrow. And a little bit cooler weather on Thursday for the series wrap-up. Weather guessers are saying thunderstorms late tomorrow night. Cool things off a little bit.
It will be a warm one, and the wind will most likely be blowing straight out once again. So get these temperatures, the wind is out of the southwest, and that blows straight out over the center field wall.
Back to the screen. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The Cubs 5-2 against the Brewers coming into this one.
Chases a ball out of the strike zone. Cubs get 1 more in the 3rd inning. A leadoff walk turns to gold. After 3, Cubs 5, Milwaukee 1.
Southwest Airlines. More than 2,700 nonstop daily flights to 59 destinations all across the country.
About the country.
Introducing Rain-X Car Wax. The same transparent polymer technology that makes our windshield treatment so effective now keeps your whole car protected from rain, dirt, UV rays, and more. There's almost nothing Rain-X Wax won't protect your car from. Almost. New Rain-X Car Wax. Protection you can see.
Our new Ford Taurus is just an unbelievable value.
We've been looking at one with a power moonroof at no extra charge.
Taurus did earn the government's highest safety rating.
We know.
We chose the 0% financing for 5 years.
Well, Ford's going to match our down payment up to $1,000 for a total of $4,500 down.
It is thousands less than the Accord or Camry, and it's got the power of a V6 engine.
I know. We're picking ours up today.
Now current Ford owners get an extra $500 cash. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again. These folks did.
23 sons of former ball players were picked in this year's amateur draft, including the sons of Don Mattingly, Fernando Valenzuela, and Gary Gaetti. That leads us to our Aflac trivia question tonight, which is
Dimitri Young.
Anthony Gwynn was drafted by a team that you're seeing on the television screen tonight. Which one of the two, however, is responsible for selecting Gwynn second?
I'm going to guess the ones with the gray uniforms.
Okay, just to be contrary, and I'll say it was the Cubs, even though I know I'm wrong. As John Vanderwall goes to work in our 4th inning. Second year in a row, though, Milwaukee has selected a
Prince Fielder is the other guy.
A son of a former major leaguer, Cecil Fielder's kid, Prince.
And Prince has big-time major league power.
Problem is he plays first base, and I don't think they're going to move Richie Sexson anytime soon.
True. And they don't have a designated hitter any longer. You know, it's funny how you find a spot for a guy that has either the power and productivity of Sexson or the potential and the invitingly low salary that Prince Fielder is going to have when he gets to the big leagues.
1 ball, 1 strike to John Vanderwall. Here in the top of our 4th inning. We want to send along congratulations to the legendary voice of the Milwaukee Brewers, Bob Uecker, the recipient of the Ford Frick Award for Baseball Excellence, July 27th in Cooperstown.
Well, I talked to Yuki before the game, and I asked him if he was working on a speech, and he said, you know me, I'm going to wing it. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case, but you know he has to be excited. It's an award well deserved and a long time coming.
Great ambassador for the game, great sense of humor, and fans in Milwaukee have been treated to his work for a a long, long time. So, Bob, from all of us in Chicago, congratulations on a richly deserved honor.
Well, he's also done so many things away from the broadcast booth, and he's become a very recognizable personality.
Base hit to right by Vanderwall. I mean, Bob Uecker should be in the Hall of Fame just for making Bob Gibson so great all those years in St. Louis. 1 on, nobody out in the 4th inning. Milwaukee's bullpen goes to work. They got a lot of arms down there. So if this thing gets down to Ford, they may not hesitate to lift him out as Luis Vizcaíno gets up for Milwaukee. Here's Wes Helms, an infield hit his last time up. Great play by Alex up the middle just to get a glove on that ball. Bouncing ball to the hole at short. Alex can't get the handle. Another infield hit for Helms, and Alex asked him, said, hey, hit the ball someplace else, man. 2 on, nobody out. Tying run comes to, well, tying run will come to the on deck circle, I should say, for Milwaukee.
Well, Alex was going to attempt that Derek Jeter, and if you remember the Don Kessinger jump pass, but he lost the handle. So 2 on, nobody out here in the 4th. And hot hitting Eddie Perez coming up. The one thing Eddie can't do is run, so if you get him to hit the ball on the ground, it'll be 2.
Kerry Wood, a laboring night tonight. He's given up 7 hits in 3+ innings of work against Milwaukee, who, despite their record under Ned Yost in his first season, has this Brewer team playing the game hard and playing the game the right way. Had a couple of base running gaffes tonight that have hurt them. By and large, this is a much better Milwaukee team from an effort standpoint than we've seen the last couple of years.
Well, Kerry Wood has struggled lifetime against the Brewers, despite having a .293 ERA against them. He has a losing record at 4-5.
Swing and a line drive to center field. Corey puts that away. 1 away. Runners hold at first and second.
Well, that ball was hit right on the button. And fortunately for the Cubs, it was a knuckleball right at Corey Patterson. Vanderwall took a couple of steps and then realized that Patterson was setting up right in his tracks, and he had to go back and make sure he wasn't doubled off.
That's tipped away by Clayton for a strike. His first base hit of the year against the Cubs came in the 2nd inning. He's 1 for 28 against them on the year. Strike. Keith Ginter, or is that Ford in the on deck, sir?
That's not Ford.
1 ball, 1 strike. Now 1-2. Be Ginter either for that matter. I think I need a new prescription. Oh, it's Keith. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Clayton. Cubs leading 5-1 in the 4th inning. Ground ball to short, slowly hit. Second base 1. Mark hangs in there and makes a beautiful turn. Clayton rolls into a double play to retire the side. Cubs by 4 in the 4th.
Oh, look, it's the guy who falls. Fall now.
Oh, I don't really do that anymore. It's not like I got that insurance.
What insurance?
Aflac. They pay you cash if you can't work when you get hurt. Not that I ever do. Aisle 5 under lingerie.
Price check.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Aflac.
See the only movie this summer that's scary as hell.
Did you hear that? Intensely scary.
My palms are sweaty. I was jumping out of my seat.
28 days later.
Awesome.
Rated R starts Friday only in theater.
What is this, some kind of joke? I don't get
The Lexus ES, highest ranked entry luxury sedan in initial quality by J.D. Power and Associates. And just when you thought it couldn't get any better, now it comes with a very special lease. See your Chicago area Lexus dealer.
Well, in case you went to Kent State or the University of Georgia and could not figure it out, who is the answer to our Aflac trivia question? Again, here's the first part. Who drafted Tony Gwynn's kid in the second round? The Milwaukee Brewers. And he will report to the low minor leagues and get his professional career started.
And they're hoping that he has some of the genes of his very famous father. The certainly first ballot Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn.
Two balls, no strikes.
Well, Grudzielanek did a great job of shifting his weight, making sure that he was going to be able to get off that throw and complete the double play and double Clayton at first. That was a good effort at second. Looks like Brooks Kieschnick throwing in the bullpen. So they will add a bat and an arm to the lineup.
Not a bad idea for Milwaukee. There's Kerry, swings through that. They've got a bunch of pitchers down there. Kieschnick, a real nice commodity, though, in that he can pitch and can pinch hit. Brewers have 5 extra men, 6 if you count Kieschnick. With him in the bullpen, carrying 9 pen men. Wood swung at ball 4, but protects the plate. 3-2 the count.
Well, Kerry looking at that wind blowing out, realizing that he's strong enough to hit it out of the ballpark if he can just get Ford to throw it close to the zone.
Vicious cut. And Kerry lives to swing again here. Montreal beat the Pirates 6-4 today. Brad Wilkerson hit for the cycle. Run away for the Expos. Wood down on strikes. 1 away. Rondell White, the last Expo to hit for the cycle. And Rocky Biddle, what a story he's been. Very quietly, Steve. A great year at the end for Montreal. He's 21 for 24 in saves.
Montreal wouldn't be where they are, which was right in the thick of the wild card, if it wasn't for Rocky Biddle. So the White Sox gave up a very valuable commodity, but they didn't realize that he could close. And Montreal, with certainly a lack of closers, decided to give him a try, and what a find he's been.
No balls and a strike to Mark Grudzielanek. That one popped up behind first. Sexton and Young converge. Richie Sexton makes the play. 2 men up, 2 men down. Alas, though, only 5,872 saw the game in Montreal today. They have one more visit to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and that'll be late in the season. The Cubs will be the final team to face them at Hiram Bithorn Stadium. 2 away for Gonzalez. Alex looking for his first base hit tonight. He's 6 hits away from 1,000 in his major league career. Where this one's going tonight, might have a chance to do it. In game 1 of the series. tonight for only the 7th time since May 15th have scored 5 runs in a game. It's a stretch of 36 ball games with less than 5 runs. We've talked about it all year long. Even with Sammy having the kind of year everyone thought he was going to have, Steve, this Cub team figured to be in search of a bat around the All-Star break, and that has turned out to be the case.
Well, they've stayed tied for first place, which is a testament to the resiliency of this team.
Alex takes strike 3 right down the middle, and Ford has a 1-2-3 fourth. We go to the 5th. Cubs still leading 5-1.
The Hyundai Santa Fe, a comparison. More standard features than a Ford Escape XLS, all for over $1,400 less when comparably equipped. And only the Santa Fe is protected by America's best warranty. 10 years, 100,000 miles. Looks like we have a winner. Test drive the Hyundai Santa Fe, nicely equipped for just $17,634 at your Hyundai dealer. Hurry in for the Santa Fe Triple Play and get $1,000 cash back or a $199 a month lease or 0% APR through June 30th.
Chevrolet from RICCA.
Rizzo Chevy, your home of $49 down, gives you Chevys for less. New Cavaliers and S10 pickups, $5,000 less. New Malibus, $5,500 less. New Trailblazer, $7,000 less. Or right now, get 0% financing for 60 months on every new Chevrolet in stock. Get into Rizzo Chevy now and get your new Chevy for less.
Buy your Chevrolet from RICCA. Rizzo Chevrolet is the only place to buy.
Why is Shooter's Chicagoland's favorite buffet? For one, light eaters really appreciate the incredible salad bar, fresh pasta salads, delicious fish, and stir fry. Meat eaters go wild for Shooter's freshly sliced meats, chicken, and dozens of side dishes. Kids get to eat all of their favorite foods. Singles, couples, and families of all sizes love Shooter's buffet. Whether you're a light eater or have a hearty appetite, Shooter's is the affordable choice every day of the week. Harwood Heights, Homewood, and Glendale Heights.
Gail Fisher here inside the Fox Sports Net studios with this Pontiac in-game update. And it seems as if Juan Gonzalez, a 2-time American League MVP, could be headed to the National League for the first time in his career. The Texas Rangers have made an agreement in principle to trade Gonzalez to the Montreal Expos. Details of the trade are expected to be announced after tonight's game between the Rangers and the A's. And Gonzo has a veto clause in his contract. Chip and Steve, is this just a matter of dumping payroll?
I would think so. The Texas team having all kinds of problems again. They've lost 8 in a row, Gail. They're 20 games under 500. And it gives Juan Gonzalez a chance with a very big paycheck to go into a new league perhaps and have a chance to make the playoffs with Montreal.
I got to tell you, they're not going to be dumping much payroll, because I don't believe Montreal is going to be accepting much payroll. You know, that contract.
In other words, Texas will pay.
Texas is going to pay the majority of that contract. And that is a very big contract.
Back up the middle. Enrique Cruz pinch hitting for Ford. Bounces out. 1 man down. That really is an interesting dilemma Major League Baseball finds itself in with regards to Montreal. That's a very good baseball team that's getting by without Vladimir Guerrero. And Montreal being financed by the other teams in Major League Baseball. I don't know how happy the owners are going to be to keep paying good money to let Montreal come in and beat them.
Well, you have to credit the front office of Montreal with putting together a very good team. It's a testament to the entire system, the scouting and development people, because they're doing it with a lot of homegrown players. Cabrera at shortstop, Vidro at second, Guerrero in right, a pitching staff with Vasquez. Got a good trade for Vargas. They've got some good deals for the bullpen, and that team has just been very good all year long. And so you're right, it is a very difficult situation, but you have to hand it to the players under the most trying of circumstances where you're on the road a whole lot of the time. They've maintained their concentration under Frank Robinson, and they've done just a wonderful job.
2 strikes to Eric Young. That misses way. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cubs will see the Expos in San Juan, Puerto Rico in September. Cubs will be the final team into Hiram Bithorn Stadium.
just in time for hurricane season. But the hitters will like it because if they need any extra advantage other than a hurricane blowing straight out, they've got the shortest alleys in all of baseball. That is very much an offensive park, and Kerry Wood has really battened down the hatches. This shows you how much tighter his breaking ball has gotten since the early innings, because that's only the 20th time this year that Eric Young is fanned.
Scott Posednik. Rough day on the base paths for this young man. He ran into a second out in the first, got picked off from first in the third inning. They're very happy with the way this kid's developed after the trade of Alex Sanchez to Detroit. They were not happy with Sanchez's demeanor, and they happily sent him packing.
Posednik is led off. He's hit second. And at the top part of the order, he's done exactly what they wanted him to do, which is get on base.
And he tries to do that here. Patterson chased to left center field, runs that ball down. 3 up, 3 down for Kerry Wood in the fifth. He's cruising right along with a 5-1 lead.
If you're looking for the biggest savings event of the year,
Toyota's got it.
if you're looking for the largest selection of the year,
Toyota's got it.
you'll find it all right now at Toyota's tent event.
Toyota's got it.
We've got customer choice savings like 0% financing, $600 customer cash, or great leases on a new Matrix or on a new Corolla, rated an excellent value by IntelliChoice. If you want it, this tent event's got it. Now at your Toyota dealer.
Toyota's got it.
Guys?
When the weather's hot and sticky, a hard mic's is good to find. When you're looking for hard refreshment, a hard mic's is good to find.
Oh, Jenny. Want to try mites?
I got this SBC Yahoo DSL. You know, it's got these pages where you fill out your interests. I told it I like jazz music. Based on what I filled out, my music pages suggest I might also like salsa music. My wife didn't even know I like salsa music.
Sign up for SBC Yahoo DSL by June 30th, and it's just $29.95 a month for the first 12 months. Guaranteed. Our best deal ever.
Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Toyota. Get the feeling. Corona Extra. Miles away from the ordinary. And by your Chicagoland Ford stores. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Don't forget, after a brief post-game show tonight, we'll be talking baseball with Chip and Steve from Harry Carey's downtown. Had a great luncheon today. We'll do it again next month with guests yet to be determined. Joe Borowski and Corey Patterson will join us. Great half-hour program talking about this great start to the 2003 season for the Cubs coming up a bit later on tonight. Meanwhile, here in the bottom of the fifth inning, the Cubs greet Luis Vizcaino, the third pitcher for Milwaukee in the game.
And the National League has greeted him very well in the previous 33 appearances. A 1-3 record, a 9.45 ERA, 39 hits in 26 2/3 innings. He's given up 8 home runs. And this was a guy at one point ranked 1 and 2 on the prospect list with the Oakland Athletics.
And speaking of Corey Patterson, he will lead off our fifth inning, and he hits a rope down the right field line for a strike. It is, by the way, our Toyota fan of the game inning, Steve. Today's fan is Melissa Garver of Rockford, Illinois. If the Cubs score in the fifth, Melissa wins a Fox Sports Toyota prize package, including a hat and a t-shirt.
Well, Corey should hit this guy pretty hard because he throws out of the side. You can see it pretty well if you're a left-hand hitter.
That's roll foul. If you're one of the first 10,000 fans tomorrow, you'll get a collectible scratch-off card and a chance to win a Rawlings autographed baseball signed by Corey. Giveaway courtesy of Arby's and Pepsi. There's no purchase necessary. It's game 2 of the series. Cubs and Brewers. Sean Estes and Olympian Ben Sheets at 1 o'clock. 0-2. To Corey Patterson with the bases clear. That one rifled back toward the Cubs radio booth, where Ron Santo is hiding under the desk.
There's a look at a coach who had a golf tournament yesterday very successfully. Everybody there had a whole lot of fun. And David Kaplan did not win this year, so we know it wasn't fixed.
Usually David cheats very, very badly. 0-2 the count. And a cue ball shot foul by Patterson. 0-2. Never play golf, someone told me, Steve. His most reliable weapon on the course is an eraser. And Kaplan certainly qualifies. But that's what happens when you're late to join the Cubs bandwagon, as David has been.
Well, he's finally on it, which is kind of nice. Certainly good for David Kaplan and his vast listening audience. All three of them.
I think Waddle brings in the bigger audience.
Oh, that's true.
By far. 0-2 pitch to Patterson. He chased a bad ball and is down on strikes. One away in the 5th inning. Cubs are leading this game 5-1, but Milwaukee's pitching has given their offense a chance. But Kerry Wood just overwhelmingly good to this point.
That one out of the zone, and Corey couldn't check his swing. So for the first time tonight, he goes down on strikes. Nice job by Matt Ford, who came into a mess in the first inning, threw 3 1/3, gave up just 1 run on 1 hit. But the Cubs, however, lead by 4.
Sammy Sosa homered tonight for the first time in this ballpark since mid-April. And he's got to feel like the weight of the world's off his shoulders at home. That was his 8th home run of the year. He scored twice tonight. There's another bomb way out of this ballpark. That one's down Kenmore over the tree and down the street. That one, folks, is one of the longest hit measure jobs you'll see here. We saw Glenn Allen Hill hit a ball onto the apartment roof and left. That one went past the apartment building, over that tree, guarding the left side of Kenmore Avenue. One of the longest home runs I've ever seen here.
Well, we've seen a lot of long shots, Chip, but everybody on the roof in left field is looking down Kenmore.
Moises Alou hits a fly ball to center for out number 2.
Well, he got every bit of a high fastball and just literally hit it out of sight. You can't hit the ball any better than that. And we told you that Sammy, when he hits him, will hit him in bunches. He's 2 for 2 with 2 home runs as that one disappears into the night.
So Sharon Panazzo and Chuck Wasserstrom will get out the measuring tape.
First multi-homer game of the year for Sammy. But the 59th time he's done it during his career.
And as the clock strikes 9, the Cubs have scored 6 on a multi-homer game from Sosa, who absolutely vaporized that pitch from Vizcaíno. Guessing 520 feet.
Well, there's still people down that street coming back now after chasing the ball. I'm just not sure if you can hit him a whole lot farther than that.
All I can tell you is it went over the tree right next to the big yellow apartment building on Kenmore. It went over that and kept on going down the street. Past that tree and down that road. I mean, he crushed it. ball, 2 strikes. To Eric Karros, 2-2. You've seen some Titanic shots here, and dare you say you've given up a few.
Well, I saw Glen Allen Hills, and this one over the tree, down Kenmore, just about as far as you can see a ball hit, or will ever see a ball hit.
Eric tried to pull his hands in and pops that ball up. So the long and short of it in this 5th inning, a Titanic Sammy Sosa home run down Kenmore Avenue. That was a Kingman-esque blast here in Chicago. 6-1 after 5.
Come on in, Derek. I thought we discussed this thing and had it all worked out. You're our starting shortstop. How can you possibly afford to spend 2 nights dancing, 2 nights eating out, and 3 nights just carousing with your friends? Oh.
If you want to enjoy the New York nightlife, bring your Visa card. Because Orso, Cheetah, and the Broome Street Bar don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Some people drive just to get from point A to point B. These guys, well, they were looking to get someplace else. That place where it all comes together. A place we call Point D. And we help them get there. We're Dunlop, makers of European performance tires for over 100 years. Dunlop, get to Point D.
Call 1-866-DUNLOP-1 for the Chicagoland dealer near you.
Officially, it's called Jack Daniel's Old Time Old No. 7 brand quality Tennessee sour mash whiskey. But you can ask for Jack.
Suarez, I have some good news. I'm taking you out.
Oh, you said you had good news.
I do. I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico. Give me the ball.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Behind a multi-homer game from Sammy Sosa, Cubs lead 6-1. And Thursday, the first 5,000 girls 14 and under get an American Girl doll-sized Cubs baseball jersey and cap, courtesy of MBNA. The Cubs take on the Brewers in the series wrap-up here at 1:20 Central. Crowd still oohing and eyeing over a Titanic Sammy Sosa home run down Kenmore Avenue, guesstimated at 520 feet. He scored 3 tonight. He's hit 2 out. And the Cubs have a 5-run lead behind Kerry Wood. Sammy is not talking to the media. He will not be available to the press after the game. He is boycotting the media. He is not happy with what he felt was unfair treatment from the press after the corked bat incident and the aftermath of that. But he's certainly of late letting his bat do a whole lot of talking, and is starting, Steve, to swing the bat like Sammy Sosa before he got hit by Solomon Torres in Pittsburgh on Easter.
Dusty Baker told us that he thought that Sammy was real close to coming around. If tonight is any indication, he has regained the magic.
And Woods had it all night.
Well, Kerry Wood started off in a very shaky fashion. He got some very good defense behind him. And now, all of a sudden, it seems to have come to him after the line drive off the bat of Perez in the 4th inning. Whenever you buckle the knees of a left-hander with your breaking ball, you can tell they're not picking up the spin, and that's exactly what happened to Jenkins.
Sexton pops that ball up. The wind's going to keep that in play. And Eric Karros will battle the gale force winds, and he puts that away. So after the 5th Wood strikeout, Sexton pops out. And now Vanderwall hits with the bases clear.
The Cubs really are looking for the formula that good teams have figured out quite some time ago. You try to split with the real good teams in your division. You hammer the teams at the bottom of the division, and you take advantage of the schedule maker when he gives you a day off. The Cubs have come back from the day off yesterday to play a team that's really struggling in Milwaukee. So far tonight, it's been all Cubs. And Kerry Wood is making it stand up. Now the rotation, the way it was aligned, called for Kerry Wood and then Mark Pryor, but the Cubs, with the off day, have decided to make a switch, and it was necessitated by a couple of substandard performances and a real strain on the bullpen. So instead of Mark Pryor tomorrow, it's going to be Sean Estes against Ben Sheets, and Mark Pryor will slide to Thursday against Wayne Franklin.
1 ball, 2 strikes to John Vanderwall, and Kerry Wood is really feeling it now. He's retired 8 men, and that slider is unhittable. Kerry's got a 6-1 lead here in the 6th.
There's a place where driver's education is everyone's favorite subject. The Saab Aero Academy. 2 days of high-performance driving instruction with every new turbocharged Saab 9.5 Aero. This is the state of independence. And here, tuition is included. Welcome.
Cubs fans, with summer road construction, public transportation is a quick, convenient way to get you to the game. Take the train or bus, and the CTA takes you right to the gates of Wrigley Field. And remember, if you do drive, come early, enjoy batting practice, and take advantage of the early bird discount.
Why Castle Buick Pontiac GMC has been Chicagoland's first choice for over 22 years. Rain, snow, or shine, shop indoors in our 35,000 square foot showroom. Choose from over 500 new and used vehicles in stock. And always get the best service and the best prices right up front. Come see how car shopping should be. And don't forget, before you buy, come see the Castle guy.
Before you buy, see the Castle guy. Castle Buick Pontiac GMC.
Hey, I bought my car at Jacob's Twin, too.
Oh, yeah, I gotta tell you, I love the selection. They have, like, thousands of cars in one place. I know. There was Buick, Pontiac, Ford.
And don't forget Honda, Mazda, and Hyundai, too. And used cars, forget about it. I had over 300 to choose from.
I'm telling you, I think they have the lowest prices anywhere.
You always win at Jacob's Twin.
I drive a car from Jacob's Twin, too, but I'm Jeff Jacobs.
Hey!
After our game, it's Fifth Third Bank Cubs Post. We'll have all the highlights and analysis of our game tonight with Gail and Dave. Don't miss Fifth Third Bank Cubs Post right after the game on Fox Sports Net. What a night for that man. Sammy Sosa, his 59th career multi-homer game, his first this season. Sosa's also scored 3 times. He's hit 9 home runs. And the Cubs have a big 5-run lead with Martinez, Paul Bacco, and Kerry Wood due up. Bacco came in the last half inning. Have not received official word as to why he left, but this is really the first hot, muggy night we've had in Chicago all spring and summer long. That might have had something to do with it. No balls and a strike to Martinez. 2 sac flies, 2 RBIs tonight for him.
Damian Miller had a bruised right foot, and that's why he left the lineup, and Paul Bacco entered, so he will hit next. He's in the on-deck circle.
That's over the outside corner to Ramon. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, the Cubs knew that even though they did stay afloat with Sammy being injured and later suspended and then really not swinging the bat the way we know he can, that over the long haul they had to have a very productive Sosa in the middle of that order. So he's coming around at the perfect time as far as the Cubs are concerned. It's a testament to this ball club that they've been able to battle and stay tied for first place without a whole lot of offensive production. Sammy now swinging the bat the way he can. The Cubs should expect some more runs, and that will take the pressure off both the starting rotation and the bullpen, as will performances like Kerry tonight. He started out struggling, but he's gotten tougher as the game has moved along.
2-2 to Martinez with the bases clear, and he is down on strikes. 1 up and 1 man down. Congratulations again to Melissa Garver of Rockford. She, by the way, a winner in the 5th inning as the Cubs plated a run in our Fox Sports Net Toyota fan of the game inning. And here is Baco. Miller leaves the game 1 for 2 tonight. His foot problems will not force him to miss significant time. Damian's been swinging a very good bat of late. 2 strikeouts for Vizcaino. And Baco, the hitter, former Brewer. Milwaukee's pen gets busy.
Looks like Brooks Kiefnick once again.
Fly ball into shallow right center field. Who wants this? It'll be Pasetnik. 2 up, 2 down in the 6th. And Kerry Wood will be the Cub hitter. Has struck out twice tonight. They're underway in Arizona. Astros nothing, Diamondbacks nothing. Arizona playing very good baseball with their Tucson team for the most part in the major leagues. Arizona's won their last 6 games to pull to within 6 of first. If they can get that thing, race that is, within 5 or 6 and keep it there at the All-Star break. Like the D-backs chances, and there's a drive belted left center field. Did Wood leave? He did. Kerry Wood hits his 2nd homer.
Vizcaino's given up a bunch of them this year. 2 tonight in 2 innings. That goes hand in hand with his 9+ ERA. He's now given up 10 home runs for the year. And Kerry taking advantage of a very friendly wind. And the Cubs have hit 4 home runs tonight.
Wonder when that's happened last. A 4-homer game for the Cubs. Might have been in Milwaukee.
It's been a while. And Vizcaino gets a high fastball up and out over the plate. And Kerry hits it a little shorter than Sammy did, but equally as effective.
Comes out for a curtain call. Here's Grudzielanek, and time called. A 2-out solo shot for Wood. This is exactly what the Cubs were hoping to get. It's something their pitching staff could use a few more of sprinkled in. And that is a 6, 7, 8 spot.
Andy Fletcher and Eddie Perez arguing behind the plate.
His pitcher was ready to go when that roar came when Wood stepped out of the dugout for the curtain call.
And they're still talking. As long as you face forward, you're not going to get in too much trouble. It's when you turn around that the umpires have some problems with it.
Grudzielanek hits a drive deep left field, and that's going to go.
Ned Yost, and I believe there goes Luis Vizcaino. Just the 2nd home run this year by Mark Grudzielanek. He's driven in 15. The Cubs have hit 5 balls out of the ballpark tonight. And we'll take another look at it.
So 5 home runs allowed by Milwaukee is the most they've allowed in a single game this year. The Cubs with back-to-back homers twice in the game. Here in the 6th inning, Wood and Grudzielanek go yard with 2 outs. And the Cubs all over them 8-1 here in our 6th inning. National League on for Milwaukee.
He's one of them. Brooks Kieschnick comes into the game, and there goes another one.
Wow, it's 3 in a row. Hit by the Cubs tonight. And if you throw high fastballs with the wind blowing out in this place, it's like playing in a Little League park.
Well, if I'm Corey Patterson, I'm not digging in too crisply here. Well, somewhere along the line, somebody will throw one inside. And watch it again. This breaking ball hangs on the inner portion and goes a long way.
So it's 9-1. The Cubs have the lead. Alex Gonzalez hits his 8th. And that one rolled foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Final starting to pile up. Boston beats Detroit 10-1. KC over Cleveland 3-1. Baltimore beats Toronto 6-4 at Skydome. White Sox leading 2-0 in the bottom of the 8th inning in Minnesota. Corey swings at a bad ball in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's the 9th time in Cub history where they've hit 3 home runs in a row. The last time Fred McGriff was one of those guys, and it's the first time in 18 years now that Fred McGriff has gone on the disabled list.
And Corey Patterson takes strike 3. McGriff, White, and Hundley hit 3 in a row in September in Houston in 2001. Standing ovation for the Cubs as Milwaukee finally retires him in the 6th inning. Box as we look at our Ford game summary. Cubs 9-1 lead it as they have played long ball. The Cubs have hit 6 of them in total, 2 of them by Sosa. Wood, Grudzielanek, and Gonzalez back to back to back in the 6th, and that's been more than enough ammunition for Kerry Wood, who now faces a 1-1 count to Helms here in our top of the 7th inning.
Well, the Cubs needed one of these. They've played a lot of real tight ball games this year where the pressure has been on the pitcher and the defense most of the time. Dusty Baker kept saying we can use a laugher.
Line drive to left center field by Helms. That's going to bounce off the track and ricochet off the fence, and Wes Helms in at second, but nobody at the pillow. Helms interrupts 8 straight men retired by Wood. That's a 3-hit game for him. 2 infield hits and now a ringing double leading off the inning. By the way, we've talked at length about Juan Gonzalez. Wire reports now saying that Gonzalez leaning toward rejecting that proposed trade between the Texas Rangers and the Expos.
Well, the one reason I can see why he might reject it, Chip, is you've got the artificial surface at both places, and very few guys late in their career want to leave a natural surface field to go to the artificial stuff. And in Montreal and Puerto Rico, it's both that very hard surface, very difficult on the legs and the back.
Now Gonzalez was held out of the lineup tonight. Jeff Morad, his agent at the ballpark in Arlington, says that after reflecting on it, in all likelihood Gonzalez would not accept the trade because Morad says Gonzalez and his family, A, feels comfortable in Texas, and B, he feels he took, if you'll pardon the use of the term, a below market contract to stay in Texas.
Oh yeah, he's really hurting financially.
So Omar Minaya, the general manager in Montreal, has a window which will begin at 10 a.m. tomorrow to try to persuade Gonzalez to waive his no trade clause. And Obviously, when you think of items like that, you think of more money, longer terms, et cetera, to try to persuade it.
Well, you're talking about a guy that turned down 142 for 7 years out of Detroit. And if he wants to get into a pennant race, this would be an ideal place to do it. Quite frankly, they're in a rebuilding mode in Texas. They don't have very much pitching or any pitching, and it's going to be a while till they get it. Juan doesn't have that many years left, but if you've got the hammer, and the hammer is the no trade, you can use that to get a few more bucks.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Perez. That's grounded toward third, but foul. And for organizations who bemoan the fact that players have those contracts, simple way to avoid it: don't give them, number one. And number two, if you feel that a player at the end of his deal's not, or the end of his tenure is not going to be worth the high salary that he is earning, move him before they earn the veto right.
Well, Chip, also, you know, the $12 million doesn't go quite as far now as it used to.
What is that like? 2-2 to Eddie Perez. Atlanta beat the Phillies tonight, 5-3. Ortiz and Millwood, round 3. Millwood loses again to his former team as Javier Lopez, surprise, surprise, in his contract year hits 2 more home runs for Atlanta. He's over 20 already.
Well, Atlanta has been just unbelievable at 49 and 25.
Check swing strikeout of Perez. That's 7 of them for Wood. 1 on, 1 out for Royce Clayton, who is 1 for 29 against Cub pitching this year.
Eddie Perez has hit the ball hard twice coming into this at bat. This time it doesn't matter if he checks his swing. That pitch is on the inside corner in a pretty good spot for Kerry Wood.
Clayton singled and wrapped into a double play. And that breaking ball tonight continues to be a mirage for the hitters. He had a great one in Cincinnati. He's got an excellent one again tonight. And in muggy weather like this, you figure it would be biting.
The last time out, it was 9 strikeouts, no walks. Tonight, it's 7 strikeouts and 1 lone walk, and he was picked off.
This game's never easy, but it's amazing watching it, Stoney, from our perspective, how much easier guys like Wood, Pryor, and company can make it when they don't put people on with the walk.
Well, if you look at batting average against, and you're under 200, it's remarkable. And Kerry Wood was at 196 coming into this. Now that translates for him, coming into tonight's action, 70 hits given up in 100 innings.
With 128 strikeouts.
It's just really astounding. Not a whole lot of people make contact, and very few make solid contact.
So more strikeouts than hits and walks combined for Kerry Wood this year. Pretty remarkable. He's got a 9-1 lead. You figure he's in pretty good shape. Hopefully those fans are all right behind the Milwaukee on deck circle. That ball came screaming in. Two balls, 2 strikes to Royce Clayton. There you go. Joe Brinkman does not bring him up. Come on, Joe, it's hot. 3-2 to Clayton. Tyson Chandler standing by for our 7th inning stretch. Kieschnick waiting on deck. He'll hit for himself. 3-2 to Clayton. Goes swinging. 8 strikeouts for Wood.
Well, it looks to me like with the pitches piling up for Kerry and with this big lead, 7 innings might be just about what Dusty wants from him. So he'd like to finish it with a flourish. That's strikeout number 8. To go with just 1 walk. He's given up the 1 lone run, that coming on the home run in the 1st inning.
Kieschnick stands in with a runner at second, 2 outs. Got a good breaking ball. Want to wish our fine cameraman Tom Hoover a speedy recovery from some minor surgery here in Chicago.
That's only minor when it's on him.
A I'm sure we'll see a vast difference with Tom when he comes back to work. Kieschnick pops it up. Corey Patterson makes the play, and that'll retire the side. Time to sing. Tyson Chandler is here, and the Cubs have a 9-1 lead.
Chicago Bulls starting forward, Tyson Chandler.
All right, Chicago, let's rock this park for our Cubs. And a 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back. Glorious room for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. It's for our teammates.
Monsanto. All Chicagoans admire him for his brilliant career at third base and as today's broadcast voice of the Cubs. No wonder he always draws a crowd.
Can I have your autograph?
What other reason could there be?
They like my Chevy.
Get 0% APR on every 2003 Chevy Trailblazer, Tahoe, and Suburban, or get big cash back. $3,500 total cash back on Trailblazer.
Mr. Santo, can I drive your Chevy?
No.
See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize again for the delay, but our gate is still not available. However, should we experience any excessive boredom here on the tarmac, disco balls will drop, and the sounds of Le Freak, C'est Chic will fill the cabin. Always be sure to get your groove thing on first before assisting others. Thank you for your patience.
Discover your inner Smirnoff responsibly.
Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Smirnoff Red. Discover Smirnoff and enjoy it responsibly.
All Cubs 9-1 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Great to have Tyson Chandler of the Bulls with us tonight in Chicago. And you picked a great night to see Sammy Sosa come back to life. Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. Definitely having a great time.
Well, obviously, before we talk about your last season with the Bulls, I'm sure everybody in Chicago who follows the NBA and follows your team, and really folks around the country, is so saddened to see what's happened to Jason Williams. What can you tell us about his condition, and have you had a chance to speak to him after that horrible motorcycle wreck?
Well, I really don't know much about his condition, but I did get a chance to speak with his father and some of his family, and I just told him that I was praying for Jason, and my thoughts were always with him, and
Sammy, it's a line drive to left center field, and he'll gallop into second. 3-hit game for Sosa, and they continue to pound away on Milwaukee. Well, obviously that had to be a shock and a blow to you guys as a team, because it seemed like he was starting to come into his own in the second half of the season last year, and they were counting on big things from him.
Yeah, definitely. It's I'm just so sad to see it, because as a person, it's like my brother, or we're all a family, and to see something like that happen is just tragic. You hate to see something like that happen, especially for a young player with a promising career like himself.
Here's Alou. That's back to the mound. It knocks the glove off Kieschnick's hand, and he recovers in time to make the play for out number 1.
Tyson, what do you do in the summertime? And of course, this is your off season. This is our on season. What do you do to get yourself in shape for a very rigorous NBA season?
Well, you really can't stop. You really can't stop, playing basketball. I took around, 2 weeks off, and then, I was right back at it. I can't afford to stop. I want to be one of the best players in the league, and, I work all, during the off season.
Well, what do you do when you go up against a guy like Chip with a gigantic lower body, where you got to push him out of the post to, to score the points in the paint?
Really, on offense, I just try to use my quickness. On defense, there's not much I can do with a guy, that's 2 times bigger than me. So I just call for help.
If you were playing against me, you could sleepwalk and dunk. I mean, come on.
You don't have to worry about your quickness.
Yeah, with him, I probably just.
You could be in a coma and beat me to the rack. But everybody in town excited about the Twin Towers. You and Eddie have really grown up together very quickly. And the draft is coming up in just a couple of days. You got a new general manager. What's Mr. Paxson going to do if you could offer an unsolicited opinion? What do you want the Bulls to do on draft night?
You know, with this draft, honestly, I really don't know. Last year, I knew a lot of the players, and, you know, I got a chance to watch a couple of them. But this year, I really only had a chance to watch maybe 2 or 3 players.
Carroll dumps that ball into center field. Sosa gets the red light at third base. Cubs have him at the corners with 1 man out. And that's hit number 12 on the night. First and third with 1 man down. Is the United Center starting to rock and roll again like it did in the old days now with you guys coming on so well in the second half?
Oh, yeah, man. The final few games, I mean, it was great, you know, to see just everybody in there intense and just loving it and having fun. You know, we were winning ball games. And, you know, I can't wait for us to, you know, finish a whole season like that.
Now I've got to ask you, who's the better big man? You or our Fox Sports play-by-play man, Tom Dorr?
I'll have to say Tom Dorr, just because I know I'm on Fox and he works for Fox, so I gotta
the power of the microphone. Respect. That's right. That's right.
Might not be able to come back no more if I say other.
No balls and a strike to Ramon Martinez, who's got a couple of RBIs in this ball game tonight. Cup bullpen is busy. You figure Kerry will be taken down after 7 real strong innings of work.
Tyson, how tough is it as a young man in their first year? You know, the guys that are going to be drafted now will come into the league. They won't have any experience. How difficult is it for a guy coming out of high school, say, to all of a sudden find himself in the NBA?
Kieschnick to second one. The return to first.
It's really unexplainable. I mean, it's such a tough transition. Because, you know, you go from being a regular high school student and a young man to being a professional and a businessman and considered an adult.
Well, Tyson, you've handled it extremely well. We wish you and the Bulls all the best, and like you, our thoughts and prayers are with Jay and his entire family.
Thanks a lot.
Jason, Tyson Chandler, thank you for being here. Jay, good luck. We hope to see you back here in the Bulls starting 5 real soon. 9-1 our score as we head to the 8th.
If only all businesses were like Walgreens Pharmacy, then their customers could create and update their own online health profiles. Because at Walgreens, our pharmacists can see up-to-date information you've provided about all the medicines and nutritional supplements you're taking to make sure you don't combine 2 things that don't go together. Fortunately, there's at least one place that's designed around your needs. Walgreens. Why go anywhere else?
Since 1866, we've had only 6 master distillers of Jack Daniels. Job satisfaction's never been much of a problem. Jack Daniels Tennessee Whiskey.
It out-accelerated Honda Accord in the quarter mile. It out-handled Audi A6 in the slalom. On the road course, it surpassed 14 other sports sedans with flying colors. Introducing the 2004 Grand Prix Comp G, the best performing sports sedan in its class. Go to Pontiac.com for details. Then get price information and take a test drive. See your Chicagoland Pontiac dealer.
Your old windows giving you a workout? Replacing them is as easy as calling 1-866-4-FELDCO. All Feldco replacement windows are custom made and custom installed, always at a great price. 100,000 customers like our style. Tired of wrestling windows?
I'll take the phone now.
Call 1-866-4-FELDCO for a free estimate. Feldco replacement windows. Showrooms north and south.
Tip of the cap to Kerry Wood. He'll depart after 7 innings of 1 run, 8 strikeout baseball. Troy O'Leary moves in for Moises Alou, and Mark Guthrie is our second Cub pitcher of the night. And Eric Young takes a strike. He's doubled to lead off the ball game. He's popped out and struck out.
Guthrie
had
on
a chance, I'm sorry, Steve, to get a couple runs early.
Guthrie on for the 27th time. ERA just over 3. He inherits a huge lead. Bullpen up and going once again for Milwaukee. They've had a tough night out of that bullpen. John Foster
makes it exciting, hence John Foster Dulles is not an applicable moniker. 1 ball, 1 strike. Eric Young aboard. He's got a 2-hit game, and here's our Pennzoil protection play. One can only wonder what Kerry Wood's fate would have been had the Brewers not run themselves out of the first inning.
Well, Kerry Wood does it perfectly because he runs right at Eric Young, and then the defense executes. They get 2 outs. Next ball hit out of the ballpark, so the only run the Brewers have on the board was in that first inning, but that's the Pennzoil protection play of the game, and it turned out to be one of the biggest plays of the night. You know, Chip, there's over 40,000 here tonight. It's the biggest crowd of the season.
Well, they knew that Sammy was going to hit a couple of home runs. You know, we have very prescient Cub fans here in Chicago.
And they picked the right night.
Yes, they did.
They also knew that they'd have plenty of time to get here because the lights would go off early, and they'd go off and out early for the Brewers.
Well, they're going crazy down at the Friendly Confines restaurant in Orlando, Florida tonight. They're watching the Cubs game on the satellite. Carmen Jordan sent us an email from sunny, although soggy, Central Florida these days.
And it has been soggy down there.
Back to Guthrie. Double play ball. 1 there. 2 there. 2 outs in the 8th.
Well, more times than not this year, anytime the Cubs have had a shot at turning 2, they get it done. Whether it's Gonzalez or Grudzielanek on the pivot, they're able to make the play. This time Guthrie sets it up with a good solid throw, and Alex turns it, so they turn yet another double play.
Second of the night, and here's Jenkins. He scored the only Milwaukee run. That was a mammoth first inning home run. So the Brewers starting a 9-game road trip in inauspicious fashion. They've given up 9 tonight.
And one of the good parts about this one is it will probably go just 8.5. And the Cubs know that if they're going to stay there this entire season and have any shot at it, they're going to have to take advantage of the schedule makers, giving them a lot of games in Chicago heading up to the All-Star break. So far, the Cubs at home just 19-17. They know they can do better here. And the 6 home runs tonight show you the potential of this offense. And with Sammy heating it up, he's got a line drive double to go with the 2 home runs. This is going to be a whole lot better offense than it's been to date.
And they're going to have to tune it up. I mean, you're going to Chicago's South Side after this series. Then you go to Philadelphia, always a lively ballpark with Jim Thome and company, and Abreu wailing away. Then the Cubs come right back home with the Cardinals, Marlins, and the offensive-minded Atlanta Braves. Guthrie works a spotless 8th. Cubs lead at 9-1.
Di Serrano sour, Di Serrano martini.
Di Serrano on the rocks.
Di Serrano on the rocks. Coming up.
Di Serrano's warm and sensual taste makes you wish it would never end. Di Serrano. Pass the pleasure around.
There's an easier way to get to the All-Star Game. Subway's Eat Fresh and Win $1 Million Scratch Card Game. You can win a trip to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game or the grand prize of $1 million. Stop by Subway today for our selection of fresh baked bread, fresh ingredients, delicious deli-style meats, and a free game card. Subway, eat fresh.
Presenting the full line of 2003 Chevy SUVs from the family of dependable, long-lasting Chevy trucks, like the legendary Suburban. Now it's J.D. Power and Associates' highest-ranked full-size sport utility vehicle in initial quality. Get 0% APR for 60 months on every 2003 Chevy SUV, or at least $3,000 cash back. The full line of Chevy SUVs. See your local Chevy dealer.
Gail Fisher inside the Fox Sports Net studios with this in-game update. And the White Sox up in Minnesota trying to gain some ground on the Twins. Billy Koch in to close things out as the Sox had a one-run lead in the ninth, and he gets Torrey Hunter to ground it out. So the Sox go on to win it 2-1. Esteban Loaiza picks up the win, and the White Sox now move within 4.5 games back of the Twins in the AL Central. Chip and Steve, let's send it back to you.
All right, Gail, thank you very much. The Metrodome has been a house of horrors for the White Sox, who are brimming with confidence. They've won 3 of their last 4 games now.
And how about Esteban Loaiza in the year he's putting together? Everybody expected it was going to be Burley and Colon, or Colon and Burley as 1-2. One turned out to be Esteban Loaiza, and he most likely will go to the All-Star game and most likely start the All-Star game if it falls in rotation for him.
So here we go to the Cubs half of the 8th inning, and Paul Bacco has an extra base hit. That's off Dulles, a leadoff double for Paul Bacco, who came on defensively in the 6th inning after Damian Miller left with a bruised foot. He's going to be Dulles for me. I don't care what you say.
Foster in the game. He used to be Dulles. And now he throws a double. So they want to test Clark, who just came into the game. And the hit parade continues.
I told you it's always exciting when he's in. So he's not Dulles. Here's O'Leary. He came on moments ago. Let's see if Troy can pick up a base hit. Exciting baseball times in Chicago. Nice story in the paper the other day talking about both the White Sox and Cubs. These Central Division races are indeed ripe for the taking for both of these ball clubs. Sox have to pick it up a bit. They have a greater deficit about which to be concerned than the Cubs do. But what an exciting baseball summer this figures to be for both Cubs fans and White Sox fans.
Right now Houston is tied 3-3 at Arizona. So you have to say go Diamondbacks. And when you look at the last 10 in the division, the entire division except for Pittsburgh has gone 4-6 in their last 10. So it truly is a division stuck in the mud. And you're right, Chip, it is there for the taking. It just depends on which team will get hot and take that next step.
And which team might be able to make a move. If for any of those top 4 teams address their one glaring need, that might be enough to put them over the top. You look at the Cubs, they're looking for a bat. They've made no secret about that. St. Louis hoping Isringhausen is going to be healthy and able to go consistently at the end. If not, they're looking for an arm. Houston would love to get a 1 or 2 starter to balance out that rotation.
Well, they take
Cincinnati, the same story.
They take a 3 or 4 at this point, with Oswald on the disabled list for the 2nd time. And when you have a groin problem and you're a pitcher, it becomes very difficult. If they lose Oswald for any length of time, they're going to have some problems, because as good as Wade Miller is, they've got some holes in their rotation.
But if they've got a lead after 6, it's over. Lidge, Dotel, and Wagner. And O'Leary coaxes a walk. So Brewer bullpen has been batted around tonight. Given up 7 hits, 5 runs. And that's the 2nd walk they have given up tonight. The John Hancock All-Star Fan Fest is coming to McCormick Place July 11th through the 15th. Get your tickets today at whitesox.com or by phone at 312-559-1212. Bobby Hill's going to come on now, and Ned Yost, I think, has been tossed for arguing balls and strikes as O'Leary was walked on the borderline pitch. So Yost frustrated with the way his team has pitched and played tonight.
And I'm sure he's saying, look, Ned, I didn't give up the 6 home runs, so real hard to argue on a close pitch with the score what it is in the 8th inning. I think Ned is doing this just to psych up his ball club. Sometimes a manager gets run because his ball club is not playing like he wants it to, and he thinks by showing that kind of fire, you'll set a trend.
Well, now Perez is getting involved in it too, and remember earlier in the game when Perez started screaming at Andrew Fletcher on the late timeout call that had Perez hot under the collar. I don't know if Perez got run too. In fact, it might have been Perez and not Yost. But now Yost is run, so both of them are gone. Lip read, Ned Yost said he's a big league catcher. Now, I don't know if Fletcher ran Perez. We couldn't tell if they were talking because Perez was staring out at the mound, and that was the point you made earlier. If you're facing the outfield from behind the plate, usually you can say pretty much whatever you want and not get run.
Well, this was a couple innings ago, though, and I think that Andy Fletcher, after a couple innings, said this is pretty much it.
Joe Brinkman is over to talk to the rest of the Brewer coaching staff. And all Yost is doing is prolonging the proceedings and perhaps the inevitable as the Cubs lead 9-1 here.
Well, that's the boot of Eddie Perez. That started a couple innings before, and it held over with that close pitch to Troy O'Leary.
Now what Yost is saying is, look, no one in the ballpark knew he was cussing you out except you, meaning the umpire.
Well, again, I think it went on for a couple of innings. It wasn't anything that was said right here. It was something that just carried over, and the umpire will give you a say, and after a while they'll just say that's enough. If you don't stop, then he gives you the boot.
And Yost is just saying, for the sake of his catcher, look, don't show up my catcher if he quote unquote doesn't show you up. But we pointed it out earlier when Perez and Fletcher got into it 2 or 3 innings ago. So Perez has run out of the game.
I think Keith Osick will come into the game. And Eddie will get a running start on a post-game shower. And he'll join a parade of pitchers who have preceded him.
So Osick is in. Perez is out. Yost is out. And the Cubs have 2 more men on for Bobby Hill. Other baseball news, Randy Johnson has begun to throw off the mound for the Diamondbacks. They're talking about him coming back around the All-Star break. Threw for 10 minutes. First time he's thrown off the mound since undergoing surgery on the 1st of May. They'll see what kind of inflammation, if anything.
Well, he's going through a series of injections in that knee. He's had 2 of the 3.
And they can't afford to lose Johnson for much longer than the All-Star break. They need him and Schilling back. Meanwhile, the Giants got a blow today. Kurt Ainsworth might be out for the year. They found he has a broken right shoulder blade. Team doctors found that out. And Hill scorches that ball. Second base for 1. Quick turn by Eric Young for 2. Runner to third is Paul Bacco, but there are 2 outs. The Cubs hit their 3rd double play ball of the game. And Alex Gonzalez will be the hitter.
This is a pretty good turn as Hill gets down the line in a hurry, but from the right side he loses a step and he grounds into 2.
The Giants believe that Ainsworth had a stress fracture that he suffered during a rehab start. He's had pain in the arm off and on all year long. He hasn't pitched in a long time. Nothing doing for the Cubs in the 8th inning. They've got a big lead with 3 outs to get here at home.
The car, park the car, hair.
In the Harvard.
In Harvard, yeah.
Dollar. Tonic.
Boston Tea
Patty.
Patty.
I need $1 for a tonic.
Y'all want to get some
chowder?
Chowder.
The concert was wicked hardcore.
The concert was wicked hardcore.
Getting ready to go to Boston? Now there's a better way to get there.
Give me 2 lobsters and some steamers.
You are now free to move about the country.
Counting down.
Measuring traffic congestion. Here we go.
Tickets for the Red Boys now on sale. Call now. Pick up the phone. Call now.
One concert could generate hundreds of thousands of calls in an instant. At SBC, if we can handle hurricanes, floods, and earthquakes, we can handle the Rad Boys. Ready for anything.
Hello? Any more tickets?
SBC.
Cubs fans, enjoy a drink with your friends before, during, or after the game at the Friendly Confines. Near the corner of Addison and Sheffield, the Friendly Confines offers easy access in and out of the game. Enjoy Cubs ambience inside or order from the grill and relax in the outdoor patio.
This summer, be the first to be exposed.
Something in the blood.
To the only movie that's scary as hell. 28 days later, rated R, starts Friday only in theaters.
This exciting Cubs finish is brought to you by New Finish, the once-a-year car polish. Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. More than 2,700 nonstop daily flights to 59 destinations all across the country. Hyundai. When your car comes with America's best warranty, you win. Hyundai. Comcast. Proud to be Chicagoland's new cable company. And by your Chicagoland Pontiac dealers.
All Cubs tonight, 9 runs on 13 hits. It's been an errorless game. Bobby Hill in to play second base. And the 6-shooter Antonio Alfonseca on for the 25th time. He and Joe Borowski have been a terrific tandem at the end of the ball game.
Alfonseca has started to throw the ball exceptionally well, like the days when he was closing on a consistent basis, and having 2 guys hot at the end is always good for a bullpen.
And the first man he'll face is Richie Sexson, who is 0 for 3 tonight. And Antonio drops in a quick strike. Want to thank our fine Fox Sports Net crew tonight. Our producer Bob Albrecht, tonight's director Dave Turner, associate producer Joe Corneo, our stage manager, the plaintiff Christine Charbonneau, Moheen Ramsey, our production manager. Thanks for the shirts, Moheen. Josh Wines, our executive producer, and the vice president of programming is Don Brand. Same 2 teams tomorrow, 1 o'clock Central Time. The Cubs and the Brewers. Brewers have handled Milwaukee handily this year. We're going to go to 6-2 against them after losing 10 of 17 against the Brew Crew last season. Reds might have put it out of reach. They lead 4-2 in the bottom of the 9th inning. Cardinals tied it in the 8th. Cincinnati got 2 in the 9th. So go Reds go. If Cincinnati wins that, they'll go to 7-1 against St. Louis this year. Count to Sexton, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Houston leads Arizona 4-3 in the 4th. Slugfest at the Bank One ballpark tonight. Ground ball foul past third. Not sure if Jeff Kent is in the lineup for Houston. He's battled that wrist problem for the Astros. And how about the Diamondbacks? They're patching it together. Ricky Patalico picked up a win the other day, his first in nearly 2 years for the Diamondbacks.
Well, they're bringing guys out of the minor leagues that have been non-roster players, then had to fill the void.
Ground ball to short. Sexton does not run well, so plenty of time. 1 up, 1 down here in the 9th inning for Brady Clark.
You take a look at that lineup for the Diamondbacks. When they put Junior Spivey on the disabled list, they've had a healthy Louis Gonzalez. Steve Finley has started to hit the ball. The pitching staff has been mix or match. They put Mike Poplove on the disabled list. And it seemed like most of the regular pitchers have somehow hurt themselves, and they've filled in really well.
So don't count out Arizona. Giants playing great. Dodgers are playing great. That figures to be a fun race. And the Colorado Rockies in the Mark Bellhorn era are 3-0. They're 2 games over 500 and only 6.5 back. Problem is Colorado can't play all their games at home. Rockies enter play tonight 29-13 at Coors, 11-25 on the road.
It's like Groundhog Day. Every year appears to be the same. If they can ever figure out a way to find some batting average away from Coors Field, they're hard to contend with. Sean Chacon has done a great job at home, and he looks like he's headed for the All-Star game.
He's got 11 wins. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Clark, who might be in the lineup tomorrow with left-handed Sean Estes working. 19 RBIs for Clark. Cubs play him straight away in the outfield. 9-1 lead in the 9th. Rare large margin win for the Cubs tonight. Ground ball to third. Good pickup. Good throw. Milwaukee down to their final out. And they'll try to spoil the perfect night at the plate for Wes Helms, who's 3 for 3. Couldn't make the play cleanly. That's E6. First of the night for the Cubs.
This should have ended it, and normally would. Alex has been pretty dependable this year, but he picks up his 6th there of the year.
So Keith Osick gets a chance to keep the game alive. Way outside. Cubs are 1 out away from their 41st win, their 20th home win, and their 23rd win within the division. Cubs have the best record in the Central amongst Central Division opponents. And there's a line drive to left. Long run out there, and a basket catch made by Troy O'Leary. And the Cubs hammer Milwaukee tonight. 9-1 the final score, Steve. 6 Cub home runs, including 3 in a row in the 6th inning for only the 9th time in the long history of the Cub franchise.
And 6 home runs are both the most the Cubs have hit this year and the most that the Brewers have given up this year. So Sammy Sosa, who had a multiple home run game, the 59th of his career, the first of the season, is our Hyundai player of the game. The first one went a long way. The second one was otherworldly. And the Cubs do it with a long ball tonight. Some very good pitching out of Kerry Wood, who wins his 7th of the year.
So Kerry Wood, the victory goes to 7-5. Ruben Quevedo falls to 1-4. 6 home runs in the game. 2 by Sosa. 1 by Grudzielanek. 1 by Gonzalez. 1 by Kerry Wood. And Gale all smiles here in Chicago as the Cubs even up their homestand at 2 up, 2 down with win number 41 on the year. What do you have for us on the post-game show tonight?
Well, Chip, we just saw Dusty Baker signing some autographs. A great night for him and the Cubs. He's going to stop by and give us his thoughts on this ball game. We're also going to talk about all those home runs hit tonight. It was bombs away with the wind blowing out at Wrigley. We've got the highlights, and we'll take a look at Game 2 of this series with the pitching matchup for tomorrow. But first, Chip, let's send it back to you.
All right, Gail, thank you very much. Looking forward to the post-game show, and the Cubs are looking for more offense again tomorrow. They score 9 today. They run away and hide from Milwaukee, a team they've beaten now 6 times in 8 tries. Good pitching, good offense. Goodbye, Brewers tonight.
We had the feeling that with the wind blowing out for the first time in a long time for the Cubs, they would take advantage of it offensively. They did just that. It was all Cubs tonight in a rare laugher.
So we'll take some more of these in the final 2 games of the series, and then we hit the road to the south side of Chicago and then off to Philadelphia for 4 games. That's the final road trip before the always exciting All-Star festivities. Cubs win it 9-1, 13 hits. They committed the game's only error as Kerry beats up on Ruben Quevedo. 6 Cub home runs in this game, including 3 in a row in the 6th. Was more than enough to handle Milwaukee tonight. 9-1 again, our final score for Steve Stone and our entire crew. Chip Kerry from the ballpark inviting you to stay tuned. The Fifth Third Bank Cubs Post is coming up next. Good night, everybody.
Oh, come on, let's get this guy. It's got to be over 100 degrees out there. You have any idea what that does to an engine?
Need a motor oil for hot temperatures? We developed one. Pennzoil Synthetic resists thinning to protect engines in hot summer conditions. Pennzoil, we're driving protection.
Get a $7 rebate on a signature service oil change with Pennzoil Synthetic or high mileage vehicle motor oils.
Show me a hero and I'll write you a tragedy.
If you think you've seen everything on Mike Tyson, think again.
I got some serious demons I'm fighting.
Fox Sports Net presents a special 2-hour documentary.
I hate my life now. Maybe in my next life, I'll have a better life. And that's why I'm just looking forward to go to the other world.
Mike Tyson, Beyond the Glory. Viewer discretion strongly advised.
Camping enthusiast? Get smart. Get supplied. Military and Police Supplies, your camping headquarters. Tents keep getting smaller because the people inside keep getting bigger. We have tents of all sizes for every purpose, from 2 men to 3 rooms. Pick a quality bag with prices that won't shock, no matter how finicky you are. We have all of the accessories and mountains of mess kits. Located at 7351 West Madison and Forest Park, minutes from the Eisenhower, from the city or suburbs. Dial 312 Surplus for weekly specials and closeout, supplying your get up and go for over 25 great years. Military and Police Supply. Thanks for the business.
Tobin's Windows and Doors, from our house to yours. Since 1960, our family business has been installing quality replacement Anderson windows in homes just like yours.
A Tobin project means quality, from our experienced sales teams to our professional installation crews. Anderson Windows, maintenance-free, energy efficient.
With a solid wood core, no other window is built like an Anderson. Anderson Windows, worry-proof, time-proof.
Great product, sales, and installation. Value, that's the Tobin tradition. From our house to yours.
Call Tobin's for windows and doors.
Fox Sports Net Studios. We're breaking it down play-by-play, Fox style. This is the Fifth Third Bank Chicago Cubs Post.
Swing and a drive, belted center field, and he finally has done it. Can Sammy feels the love at home for the first time since mid-April. Cubs lead now 3-1.
Welcome into the Fifth Third Bank Chicago Cubs Post. Gail Fisher alongside Dave Otto, and the Cubs win it 9-1. A fun offensive ball game for the Cubs. Dave, I think you could probably go back and pitch for the Brewers.
Oh, absolutely. I can give up some yardage.
They need some help. All right, let's kick it out to Wrigley Field now and join the Cubs broadcast team of Chip Kerry and Steve Stone. And guys, this was certainly a fun one to watch, and I'm sure a fun one to call.
Well, it was a lot of fun to call, and I'm sure it was a fun one to manage. Dusty Baker is standing by downstairs, and Dusty, it's always fun when you get 6 home runs in your home park with Kerry pitching. This one was a much-needed 9-1 victory, was it not?
Yeah, and it was, and this is a great way to start off our 20 in a row, going down to to All-Star break. And Kerry struggling a little bit early, then he found it in the middle innings. And, boy, it looked like it was going to be a homer night from the beginning when Jeff Jenkins hit that ball about 3/4 of a mile until Sammy hit his about a mile. So, I tell you, it's always nice to, to win, and especially get, some offensive output and give Kerry some, some breathing room. I don't think he's had that many runs in combined in about 4 or 5 starts. So, that was great for him. It was great for us. And I tell you, it was a packed house. And, boy, they saw what they came to see.
Dusty, it was over 40,000, the largest crowd of the year. You've been saying that you need a laugher. This pretty much was one tonight. I have to assume that it was a pleasure for you to see Sammy Sosa finally break out of it, because, you know, the team stayed afloat without him, but you have to have Sammy hitting in the middle of that lineup.
Yeah, you do, and he hit the ball hard. I mean, he hit the ball hard all night. You know, even the double he hit was about 5 feet off the ground, and that ball shot into the gap, and that ball might have been hit as hard as any ball that he hit. But, you know, it was nice to see Sammy turn on that fastball, Vizcaíno, because, you know, that shows his timing is getting better, his hands getting quicker, and his foot must be okay. So, you know, and he even has his hop down now. I mean, he knows when he, you know, when he gets it. And this one, boy, I mean, this one was a monster shot. And, boy, that ball goes into the night. That ball is way out there in those trees somewhere. So, you know, it's great to see that. Kerry got in on the act. It was good to see Gonzo. Boy, who else hit home runs? Grudzielanek, everybody's giving him.
Well, even you lost track. 3 in a row at one point. In fact, that's only the 9th time in the history of the Cubs franchise, Dusty, that the Cubs hit back-to-back-to-back home runs.
Well, you're not going to see back-to-back-to-back too often, but it's rare to see it, you know, come 9-1-2. I mean, you know, you got a ball up to Kerry, and then I think he hung a breaking ball to Grudzielanek, and then here comes Gonzo and hung another breaking ball, I believe, to Gonzo, you know, that stayed on the inside. So, you know, we got an early turnaround tomorrow, and we got a tough Ben Sheets, and it'd be great for us to have an offensive output against Ben Sheets, too.
Well, it's a long, hot night, Dusty. We appreciate, as always, your time. A great way to start, as you said, this 20-game march to the All-Star festivities on the South Side. I know it's going to be a busy couple of weeks for you, and as always, we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, I'll be here.
All right, look forward to it. Dusty Baker saw his Cubs hit 6 home runs tonight, and Kerry Wood had that breaking ball going. He was awfully tough.
Well, when the Cubs get that kind of pitching and get any offense at all, you know it's a recipe for victory. And tonight they got a whole lot of offense. Hopefully save some against Ben Sheets, who's pretty tough against the Cubs.
Hopefully Cincinnati can hold off the Cardinals, and hopefully the Diamondbacks can beat Houston. For, as we like to say, Gail and Dave, we love it when there's ground to be gained in the National League Central. The Cubs will have a share of first place entering Game 2 of the series here tomorrow afternoon. Let's send it back to you now.
Okay, thanks a lot, Chip. Yeah, Cubs fans are rooting for the Diamondbacks tonight. Chip, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you again. Steve, we want to talk about those Lexus keys to the game, and I know you mentioned this wind blowing out in the pregame show. And didn't you say something about scoring a lot of runs? Was 9 good enough?
Well, 9 was certainly good enough. In fact, 2 would have been good enough tonight, but 6 home runs with the wind blowing out. You had a feeling the Cub offense was going to step up. Ruben Quevedo didn't have it. The Cubs didn't let him off the hook. They took advantage of him, knocking him out in the first inning. They got into the bullpen early, and that was the end of this one.
Stoney, most of the Cubs' wins this year have been grind them out. You know, I look back on that game Sunday against the White Sox, scored 2 runs late in this ball game. Mentally, it's got to be great for this ball club, and 2, for Kerry Wood to go out there with a good lead, feel comfortable on that mound, and throw his game.
Well, it doesn't really happen too often where Kerry Wood is a beneficiary of this kind of offense. So tonight, he started out as real shaky, Dave. You know yourself, when you start out, you don't have that real good feeling. Then you get a lot of runs scored for you. Gives you a whole lot of confidence. Kerry has a lot of confidence. The league is hitting below 200 against him, and winning this ball game tonight the way he did, getting stronger as the game moved along, you'd have to say for him it's a positive sign and a sign of maturity.
Stoney, I never had a good feeling. You're the Cy Young. You had a good feeling all the time.
I had a good feeling in 1980. Before then, no good feeling.
Okay.
Well, Steve, I echo Chip's sentiments, and it's been a long, hot night for you, so get into some air conditioning. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you again.
Okay, Gail, take care.
Dave, let's talk a little bit more about the starting pitching for tonight. Obviously, a pretty good night for Kerry Wood. Maybe started off not his best stuff, but then, as Dusty Baker said, sort of found his groove midway through.
Boy, midway through, he was outstanding. He had that breaking ball going. A couple breaks for Kerry Wood early in the ballgame. He gives up the home run to Jenkins early, and that could have been a 2-run home run. But because of a base running mistake by the Brewers, only a solo Johnson in that first. Got out of a bases-loaded jam early in the ball game. You were getting EY to pop up. So with that 3-run lead, Kerry Wood throwing the ball good, helps himself out here in the 3rd inning. gets the pick off. But then once he got that feeling, he gets a double play ball here. After the 4th inning, it was lights out for Woody. Big lead, and that's the sign of a premier pitcher, not only pitching those tight ball games, but also when you have that feeling that the big boy's on the mound, you have a 5-run lead. This game's over, and tonight it was over once Kerry Wood found his rhythm.
7 innings for Kid K, 8 hits, 8 strikeouts, just 1 walk, and the 1 earned run. Ruben Quevedo lasts just 2/3 of an inning. Dave, I have to say, he came off of his worst outing ever and comes out and pitches even worse.
We're going to see in the highlights what a great job the Cubs offense did in the first inning against Quevedo. Quevedo had nothing today, and the one thing that he does do every once in a while, tries to get you out on your front foot. The Cubs drove the ball the other way.
All right, it was a good ball game for the Cubs. 9-1 is the final. Corey Patterson and a lot of the Cubs hitters able to go yard in this one. We will look back at the highlights when we come back.
You want the best values in America? Well, they're here now at the Dodge Summer Sales Drive,
where you'll find our best products.
Like the Durango SXT, with available 7-passenger seating and rear air. And our best deals. Get a $4,500 cash allowance or 0% APR financing for 60 months on Durango.
all with Dodge's 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Let us prove we got the best values in America. Hurry to your Dodge dealer today.
Cubs fans, still looking to get tickets to the hottest Cubs games this summer? Visit www.cubs.com and click on the Ticket Exchange. See a Cubs game from the best seats at Wrigley Field. Check out the Ticket Exchange at www.cubs.com or call 866-272-6614 for more information. That number again, 866-272-6614.
ATA become just a business airline?
It's time to find some sun.
Honestly, no.
No time for work, just fun.
ATA's Vacations Back Sale.
It's ATA again. Yeah, on ATA, you're on vacation.
With special low fares to great vacation destinations. Just buy by June 30th, 2003 and fly between July 15th and October 16th, 2003.
On ATA, you're on vacation.
My parents got me this SBC Yahoo DSL. It's got customizable home pages, so it's easy for me to add stuff and move it around. But check this out. I think the people at SBC and Yahoo have to reprogram my page every time I move this stuff around. But there are like 20 programmers over there just freaking out right now.
Sign up for SBC Yahoo DSL by June 30th, and it's just $29.95 a month for the first 12 months. Guaranteed. Our best deal ever.
Di Serrano Sour, Di Serrano Martini.
Di Serrano on the rocks.
Di Serrano on the rocks. Coming up.
Di Serrano's warm and sensual taste makes you wish it would never end. Di Serrano. Pass the pleasure around.
Max Matson and Mitsubishi. For more than 15 years, we've been one. In fact, no one in the Midwest has more or has sold more new Mitsubishis for less than Max Matson. Let us prove it. Wake up and drive now to Max Matson Mitsubishi, 2424 West Ogden Avenue in Downers Grove, just a half a mile east of 355. Now, get 0% financing plus a 7-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty.
And a 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
Oh, Tyson Chandler from the Bulls singing. I don't think he should sing, Dave.
No, he can play, though.
He can play. Leave the singing alone, though. All right, let's take a look back at the highlights in this ball game and let you see how it unfolded. Top one after a leadoff two-bagger by Eric Young. Scott Posednik chops it back to the mound. EY is caught in between bases. Dave, this is going to be a 1-6-5-3-4-3 double play.
Very good, Gail. And the best thing Kerry Wood did there was get rid of the ball, get it to an infielder.
So an unusual play there. Heads up by the Cubs, not good by the Brewers. Jeff Jenkins gets the home run barrage going. His 17th long ball of the year onto Sheffield. It's 1-0 Brew Crew.
Oh, red hot right now, month of June, hitting over 350, got a fastball down and in.
Ruben Quevedo getting in all kinds of trouble early. Grudzielanek leading off the base hits. Corey goes oppo, then the home run to left center. It's 2-1 Cubs.
I know the wind's blowing out, Gal, but you are some kind of strong where you're out front a little bit. You just flick it in the left center field bleachers.
Dave, we're going to flash back because the last time Sammy Sosa hit a home run was April 17th. It looked awfully cold. That was his home run at Wrigley versus Cincy. Now back to tonight, he unloads one. Number 8 on the season.
And that is just about over the juniper bushes.
Sammy Sosa, the 5th Third Bank hardworking player of the game. So we got back-to-back home runs. It's 3-1 Cubs. And now we're going to flash back again. May 6th versus Milwaukee. The lights go out. There's a power outage.
See, I would...
Delayed in the 9th inning, Dave. Deja vu.
Well, I would try and make a pitch right there.
In the dark. It's deja vu. Lights going down in the city again tonight. A 15-minute delay here. Now on to the top of the second. It's also a window of opportunity with the bases packed with Brewers. EY pops it up.
Perfect pitch by Kerry Wood there. You know, after that delay, sometimes it's tough to get the rhythm back. Got it back with a big out.
We have to flash back one more time to May 11, 2000 against the Brewers. It's always the Cubs-Milwaukee series. Glenn Allen Hill hits a bomb onto the rooftop. 490, I believe that was. Now tonight, Sammy is definitely going to beat 490. This could be the longest home run at Wrigley ever.
I saw Dave Kingman hit one down Kenmore Avenue, but that's pretty darn close right there. And how in the world do you measure that?
It's hard to. Sammy Sosa with his first multi-homer game of the season. Bottom 6 now. Kerry Wood hits a home run. Mark Gonzalez hits a home run. And they just keep coming, Dave. The long balls keep coming. Alex Gonzalez back-to-back-to-back. So 3 home runs in a row, the first time since September 2001, and only the 9th time in Cubs history. So this game was full of long balls, and the Cubs win it 9-1 is your final. Sammy Sosa 3 for 3. And Kerry Wood picks up the win. All right, when we come back, we're going to take a look at some other highlights from around the league. Esteban Loaiza and the Sox trying to gain some ground against the Twins up in Minnesota.
For more on tonight's game, pick up a copy of tomorrow's Sun-Times. For home delivery, call 1-888-84-TIMES. The Chicago Sun-Times. True Chicago.
Sold. It's got to be the Explorer.
I agree. The smooth car-like ride and the great handling make me feel safer.
And look what I found. Explorer is the best pick by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety.
No wonder it's the best-selling SUV in America.
And the most trusted.
You know, the others just didn't come close to Explorer's handling.
The only decision left is the 0 for 60, or Ford matches our down payment up to $1,000 for a total of $4,500 down.
Let's go pick it up and we can talk about it on the way.
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again. This family did.
All right, son. Remember what I told you? Choke up. There you go. Sorry, Larry. Oh, whoops-a-daisy. Hang in there. Whoa. There you go. Walk it off.
You can teach your kids about baseball.
Ooh, honey. Oh, that's okay. We'll put a stake on it. Old school.
Or you can teach your kids about baseball. The John Hancock All-Star Fan Fest, July 11th through 15th at McCormick Place. For tickets, visit the U.S. Cellular Field box office, Ticketmaster, or WhiteSox.com.
Love powerlifting. We love powerlifting.
60 national powerlifters, 14 different sanctions. Who is the strongest man in America? How about Chicago's own Joe Mukai, the #2 ranked lifter in the country? Or Scott Mendelson, 800 pounds in raw weight? This has never been done. Don't miss Chicago's police and firefighters in the Battle of the Forces. Bench America, Saturday, July 5th, Allstate Arena. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com or call 312-559-1212.
He co-authored the Illinois Joint Custody Law. He helped reunite Elian Gonzalez with his father. He wrote the groundbreaking book, Father's Rights.
Studies show that children with involved fathers are less likely to abuse drugs or fail academically. I'm Jeffrey Leving. I'm an attorney who concentrates in protecting fathers. I've been helping dads with custody issues for over 2 decades.
For a free brochure on Father's Rights, call 312-356-DADS.
Built a nucleus of young stars, and now it's time to add another piece to the puzzle. Join Damon Andrews, Norm Van Leer, and Tom Dorr for the latest draft news and rumors, plus hear from John Paxson. The Bulls Draft Special, Wednesday after Sox Post on Fox Sports Net.
ATA become just a business airline?
It's time to find some sun.
Honestly? No.
No time for work, just fun.
ATA's Vacations Back Sale. With special low fares to great vacation destinations. Just buy by June 30th, 2003 and fly between July 15th and October 16th, 2003.
On ATA, you're on vacation.
We are talking Cubs after this post-game show. Chip Kerry, Steve Stone, Corey Patterson, and Joe Borowski talk amongst themselves and talk with the fans at Harry Carey's. You may have missed lunch, but you don't have to miss the discussion because we've got it for you right here on Fox following this post-game show. Hear what Corey and Joe have to say. You don't want to miss it. It's pretty good stuff, folks, so keep it right here right after the post-game show. All right, we're going to take a look at some highlights from around the league and update on the NL Central when we come back.
Fifth Third Bank Cubs Post is brought to you in part by Fifth Third Bank. Fifth Third, working hard to be the only bank you'll ever need. And by Saab. Welcome to the state of independence.
Rates are so low. Rates are
so low.
Fifth Third Equity FlexLine rates have never been
so low.
With rates this low, you can remodel that room or build your dream kitchen. Fifth Third Equity FlexLine will be music to your ears. It's another great performance, backed by the strength, stability, and convenience of Fifth Third Bank.
Rates are so low. Working hard to be the only bank you'll ever need.
There's a state where the national pastime is the game of what if. What if all cars were turbocharged? What if innovation were the official currency? Saabs are made in a state of independence, where freedom is held as tightly as the road. Welcome.
The turbocharged Saab 9.3 linear sports sedan. Available in the state of independence for as low as $299 a month.
ATA become just a business airline?
It's time to find some sun.
Honestly? No.
No time for work, just fun.
ATA's Vacations Back Sale. With special low fares to great vacation destinations. Just buy by June 30th, 2003 and fly between July 15th and October 16th, 2003.
On ATA, you're on vacation.
Counting down.
Measuring traffic congestion.
Here we go.
Tickets for the Red Boys, now on sale. Call now. Pick up the phone. Call now.
One concert could generate hundreds of thousands of calls in an instant. At SBC, if we can handle hurricanes, floods, and earthquakes, we can handle the Rad Boys. Ready for anything.
Hello? Any more tickets?
SBC.
Taking an ATA fly around the bases, the Sox up in Minnesota. Bottom one, Esteban Loaiza was dealing early, gets Jock Jones swinging. Then Christian Guzman goes down looking. Loaiza, no earned runs through 8 innings. Top of the second now, Sox offense. Carlos Lee singles one up the middle. Brian Daubach's going to score, so the Sox are on the board. It's 1-0. This was a close ball game throughout. Top 6, still 1-0. Frank Thomas loops one to center field. That's going to be good enough for Miguel Oliva to score. Sox up 2-0. Bottom 9 now. Billy Koch has to close it out. Gets Torrey Hunter to ground out. The Sox go on to win it 2-1. Esteban Loaiza picks up win number 11 on the year. Checking out the NL Central, just to update you, of course, the Cubs win. Houston plays Arizona tonight. St. Louis and the Reds are right now tied 4-all in the 10th inning. One of these two teams, of course, going to get knocked back a full game.
Let them play 20 innings. Just burn that bullpen. Great win tonight for the Cubs. Awesome.
Absolutely. Game 2 tomorrow is Sean Estes versus Ben Sheets. For Dave Otto, I'm Gail Fisher. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Where's your mom? Working late again. Going to watch TV. Okay. So I'm really good at it. Cool.
Now you can be mom, even when you can't be there.
It's like not working. Oh, that? It's working.
Parental control. Another way Comcast digital cable makes life a little cooler.
The game gets passed down. My father, me, and so on. I see, that's a strike. That's called painting the corners.
Which guys do you like?
The guys with the blue hats.
I like the guys with the blue hats, too.
Hey, you want to go to the game to see the guys in the blue hats?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's buy some tickets.
Everything we do is about connecting you to the stuff you love most. Comcast.
All-star hopefuls making a splash in just their second full seasons in Chicago. From the Cubs bullpen, he's converted 15 of his first 17 save opportunities, Joe Borowski. And he's the Cubs leader in nearly every offensive category, outfielder Corey Patterson. All this and more today as Chevy presents Talkin' Cubs with Chip and Steve. And now, put your hands together for two guys out of their booth, Chip Kerry and Steve Stone.
Hello, Mr. Stone. Hello. Thank you all very much. It's great to be here at Harry Carey's restaurant in downtown Chicago as we talk a little Cubs baseball. In case you forgot, I'm Chip Kerry. This is Steve Stone. And isn't it great to be talking about the Chicago Cubs in first place? Obviously, we're all excited about talking to Corey Patterson and Joe Borowski. They'll be out here in a few seconds. But, Steve, obviously, for the fans of Chicago baseball, these last couple of weeks have been perhaps the most interesting times you've ever seen. Certainly, it has been for me as well.
Let's talk a little bit about the season and recap it very quickly. Number one, we've had to play without one of the great sluggers of all time, Sammy Sosa. First, there was the beaning. And then there was the toe injury, and then he went on the disabled list, came off, and the cork bat. Then he went on the suspended list, and through it all, the Cubs have done a magnificent job of putting